In this video, we are going to go over the JC Backfire and Jason Blundell stream. Basically, this stream kicked off as them talking about the impossible Easter egg, and it's actually very intriguing. In this video, I'm going to break down every highlight and every parts that I think that is very important, not everything, and cut it down into small highlights, and basically, I'm going to talk about it afterwards. In the background is going to be Riese gameplay from Black Ops 3 Custom Zombies, and this is pretty interesting. I'm going to show you guys this specific clip from Mr. Deluxe JD interviews Mr. Blundell, saying that maybe 8 years time he will talk about the impossible Easter egg, and that time has come. Not joking. So let's play the clip right now.
One is purple meatballs.
Okay.
And another is purple keepers during the Shadow Man boss fight.
Well, let me say this. One of the assumptions I make when we talk about big Easter eggs or things that are kind of hidden and other stuff that's going on, I assume that everyone is going to take the code, take the Radiant, and take it apart. Which means anything that we could put in script and anything I could put in with Radiant, I'm assuming you could just open it up and find it. So if you're seeing anything and it looked like it's engineered, you're probably off because you'd have already found that by now.
So basically, is that well hidden that?
Well, it's like, and here's the thing, I know there's intensity in the community. I think I may be talking about this in about another 8 years' time.
Wow.
You're the one who asked me for the World at War one.
Yeah, and that was
so
8
how long
years.
did I hold that? That was 8 years, yeah.
And that was so simple.
Yeah.
Like looking back at it, it's frustratingly simple.
Yeah.
And
it's one of those things where it wouldn't matter if you data mined it.
Yeah.
Because it didn't matter.
Okay, interesting.
So here's the thing, just to crush everyone's dreams.
Okay. The official statement.
You can ask me all you want. I'm going to put that away in a vault and talk to you again about it in 8 years' time.
Okay. And by then we'll be old and growing beards.
Yeah, exactly.
So in that moment, that's when Mr. Deluxe JD was asking him questions about Easter eggs and other stuff in the zombies related kind of content. And Blundell said that maybe in 8 years' time, we will speak on this again. Then recently, he has spoke about it, which is absolutely crazy. And I'm going to play the clip right now. And please put your seatbelts on, get the popcorn ready, because you probably are not expecting the answer of what Jason Blundell says.
On the impossible Easter egg, please put a 1 in the chat if you believe it exists and a 0 in the chat if you believe it doesn't.
Interesting.
Okay.
Wow. It's there's some zeros, but it's I would say it's overwhelmingly 1.
Okay. So now the next part of the conversation is I'm talking to all the people who just put 1 in, because all the people who put 0 in, they're all okay, right? They've said no. So now we're talk to the people who put 1 in. So the people who put 1 in, can you tell me whether 1, if your expectations are high for what the impossible Easter egg would be, and 0 if you think your expectations are low about what they would be?
Medium?
Medium, 0.5. Okay, so everybody who answered 1 to those questions, this conversation is primarily for you. The first thing I'm going to ask you is to lower your expectation, because I am going to disappoint you today. But now's the time, but I will give it context. But I like to start off by setting expectations. So let's lower everyone's expectations. What I want to share today is how I went through the process, where the idea came from, and ultimately I'm going to tell you about the very nature of it and why you need to stop looking for it and give up now. But I want to rewind all the way to the beginning and tell you a story that all leads up to me giving that hint on the impossible Easter egg. I think it was Tech Insider in New York when I kind of gave that interview. I'm going to go all the way back to the beginning. As I say, you've waited for a while, so I'm going to stretch this story out and give you all the kind of detail. Let's rewind all the way back to Black Ops 1. So Black Ops 1 was an incredible project. It was a project that I never thought that I would have the opportunity to work on in my career. It's the kind of zenith, right? To make a #1 game, we got Guinness Book of Records and the fans accepted it. The story was great, right? Just the development itself was fantastic, right? A group of, I say professionals, but they were ragtag individuals, all with different personalities, fighting because they wanted something. It was a real kind of a passion project for nearly every person in that studio. You attack every project in the kind of same way, but it really just kind of came together in this kind of magical way. And if you'd asked us at any point during Black Ops 1, we wouldn't have been able to see it. We were just desperately trying to make something with all the passion that we had. It's one of the reasons why I am and always will be a massive fan of Treyarch, right? That team, that studio, some of the smartest minds I've ever had the pleasure to work with. Black Ops 1, we'd obviously had other projects before. Black Ops 1 was the first time I saw them really kind of come together with this kind of passion that I'd always dreamed of, and made that project. And at the end of that project, I was sad. Now you'd think I should be ecstatic, right? right? What a success of a project. I was actually sad. And I was sad because I felt my goal had just been met, which sounds weird, but I'd always kind of used this kind of goal to kind of drive me in my career and drive what I was doing. And so I thought I'd picked an impossible goal. I thought I'd picked something that would never be achieved. And so when it was achieved, it really kind of made me, I wouldn't use the word depressed, but quite sad for a while, because I was like, well, you need a goal. You need something that's bigger than you to strive for, right? And I felt like I just achieved it. And so it kind of saddened me. And then we go into Black Ops 2, and that same team who was kind of hungry and raw, you know, I said they weren't professional. We all of us weren't. But by number 2, it turned into like this well-oiled machine, and it was making more content and a bigger kind of project than that team could reasonably make in the amount of time that they were given. And it was incredible. I looked at it and thought, okay, this is the zenith. This is the top, right? The first one was a lot of, blood, sweat, and tears. The second one, they were just attacking it like monsters. And it was hard work. They're all hard work projects. But man, I just, again, never seen anything like that before. Now, between Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 3, the team kind of got split up. We did different things, had other fires that we had to put out. But when we came back together for Black Ops 3, we essentially had, I think it was like 9 to 10 months left to make both the campaign and all the zombies. And we had nothing. We had 10 months. Now, bear in mind, I've spent most of my career, in a production role, right? So looking at schedules, talking about how staff work and this stuff. What the fans ultimately received for Black Ops 3 shouldn't be possible. I still to this day don't know how that game and all its content was actually made in that amount of time. And what it was a team that had been working together, passionate from the raw days of Black Ops 1 into the professionalism of Black Ops 2, and then okay, we need a miracle, and a miracle was produced for Black Ops 3. As I say, that's why Treyarch has and always will have a special place in my heart, because those people are still there doing that kind of magic, right? Yeah. With fresh blood in there as well, which is awesome. So before I finish 3, I've got to do the press and media tour. So I'm going to kind of go out and talk to the press, and you do these. They'll send you to some place. I went into Europe, but I did some stuff in the States, and those schedules are normally pretty brutal, right? You kind of get up in the morning, PR person takes you to one interview, then you walk out of that, you go to the next one, next one. And normally when you turn up in a town, the local PR people will take you out and have a meal or drinks and this kind of stuff. And I'd done it a whole bunch of time, and I was like, what? I'm just going to stay in the hotel room tonight.
You're like, I'm done.
I'm done. Like I've had enough, nice meals and drink and so forth. So I say, I'll just stay in the hotel. So I'm in New York. It's this lovely old hotel, like old, yeah. like The Shining kind of thing. It's like Art Deco, nice big ceilings, big walls, white marble. There's a kind of a smell in the air of old hotels. That doesn't matter how much kind of deodorant or cleaning you do, it kind of just tells you it's an old hotel, right? It's the kind of haunted stuff, right? It's awesome. And I'm sitting on the edge of my bed in the hotel that night. And there was a bunch of stuff I'd kind of set up and I'd been doing along the way, which started actually in Riese, which is interesting. We'll talk about that in a bit. But I was kind of going along, and I'm sitting on the edge of the bed, and that's when I decided that it was time to make an Easter egg for me.
That's real.
It was time to... So I'd done this with ciphers and done this with Easter eggs on the most part, which was that I would always leave a thread. I'd always leave something, right? So I was trying not to, in most part, make unsolvable things. So I'd leave like keywords, be zombies, or I'd do certain things that were very... You could get the first step, and then I'd make the second step or something else a little bit more
The keyword being zombies. I remember that on the mob cipher being crazy.
I could obviously make that a lot harder, right?
Yeah.
But I'd always kind of made it so that even for the ones that took 10 years to do, there was still, I left like little breadcrumbs in, so there's a way, right?
Yeah.
I was thinking to myself way back when, this started in Riese, what happens if I did one for me? What happens if I did one that truly was not for the community? It was for me to put something in. And I thought about 2 books that I'd read. And the first book is by an author called Miyamoto Musashi. It's called The Book of 5 Rings. And the 5th book, if I remember rightly, is called Void. It's about the stuff that can never be known in life. And the other book that I was thinking about was a book called Here Be Dragons, which was a physics book about wormholes and kind of advanced physics, talking about extraterrestrial life and so forth. And in that book, Here Be Dragons is what they used to write on maps when the sailors didn't know what was there, or if bad things, if a ship had not come back, they'd just write, Here Be Dragons, right? The idea of forbidden knowledge. And I'd always kind of thought about the idea of, wouldn't it be amazing if there was things there that we couldn't see, that were always there? And I knew the zombie community would be taking everything apart and cracking everything open. How do you do an impossible Easter egg, right? That could survive forever? My goal being that it would never be found. And so I could truly put things in there that were profound. And that night is when I worked it out. So I had all the kind of pieces already set up, but that night I was like, you know what? I'm going to commit to this. And I worked pretty much through the night in that hotel room and worked it all out and was like, yes, this will all work.
That's awesome.
And so I walked out, and the PR person took me to the interview. And as I'm going into the interview, I thought to myself, if I make it sound as profound as what it is to me, then all the attention will go to it.
Yeah.
So I tried to do as kind of light and joking a kind of presentation as possible. And yes, I didn't know what images they were going to put behind me or any of that kind of stuff, right? But I threw it out into the interviewer, and I feel for that interviewer because I think every interviewer I've ever spoke to about zombies, they always say, "Oh, tell me a secret that the community doesn't know," right? And I always tell them, like, no, or I joke about something. Well, this one guy, I gave him my life's work.
And he didn't know.
So he didn't
know that was going to happen.
So the one guy, I suppose it proves to kind of ask me that question repeatedly because this one guy, I gave the whole thing. So let me get to the end part. The impossible Easter egg, the clue is in the title. It is impossible. You will not get it. Stop looking for it. I'll say this statement. If you were to get it, it would mean something to you, but would mean everything to me. I don't believe anyone can get it. I think it's so complex, and I've not tried to put any kind of clues or crumbs out there because I want it to survive after all of us are gone. Now,
damn.
If it was discovered, I would obviously tip my hat to the superior gamer. But my goal is, and that's why I don't want to tease it or kind of talk about it very much. It's not for you, it was for me. And so that's what I have to say. Thank you for being patient all this time. I apologize for the disappointment, but that's what the impossible Easter egg is.
All right, that was that. That was a ton of information that I was not expecting to get, and it was a lot of information. They developed Black Ops 3 within 10 months, which is surprisingly, and he thought that was impossible in that time period. The fact is that we got that game in that amount of time. It should have never happened. It was just a miracle, as he explained. And it's just phenomenal how a game like that can be developed in that amount of time, because that game is truly a masterpiece. It has zombies, it had the campaign, it had multiplayer, it had so much elements to the game that shouldn't be made in that time period, and it was. It is actually incredible. And it took him a while to actually get to the impossible Easter egg, how he kind of came up with it, and the books he read, and he went into the interview without, being asleep the whole entire night. Then he said, it's in the title. The impossible Easter egg is going to be literally impossible. And it's going to put the hat down, shake your hand if you do find it. But at the end of the day, it's impossible. In Mr. Deluxe JD's interview, he said people gotten very close. And if we just knew what those specific Easter eggs were, as he's specifying which ones were actually close, we could monitor that and actually, dig deeper. But we do not know that. That's just how life is. And he says, if you find it, it's going to mean truly something to you. And the Easter egg means something to him. He wanted to make an Easter egg that wasn't for us, basically. So whoever finds it is going to be for you, which is going to be absolutely amazing. And hopefully he wants an Easter egg to be basically impossible because he doesn't want people to find it, and he wants it to be there for the rest of existence of planet Earth, of mankind. He wants it to be existed until we basically die, like we're done, which is absolutely insane. So the life after us can find this Easter egg, or if the game, or if even the platform may exist after we're gone, we don't know. But this conversation about this Easter egg it's very deep, and it's cool. It's like you making a game and you create all these side Easter eggs in there, people to find it. You make it very, easy. Then you say, you know what? I'm tired of people finding my Easter eggs. I'm going to make this one more complex, so difficult that people will not find it. It's going to be very difficult. And it's not something that you would normally find like a regular Easter egg or a cipher. It's going to be very difficult. I'm going to dig it so far, you won't be able to recognize it, that it's actually an Easter egg. And I'm like, that's what he's done. It's so complex that people will not find it. And if it comes a day that people will find it, like you said, he will, congratulate them, and it's impressive. And then during the stream, it got very, very impressive. They announced their new gaming studio. As previously with Divination Games, Jason Blundell was a part of that team, also with JC Backfire, and that game, they totally left that studio forever. Then they started with Outlaw Games, and that was shut down by PlayStation. After 4 years of progress, you lose that. And Jason Blundell said, after you do something so many times, you kind of start a new studio, go back in, make it twice as fast, and that's how you kind of gain that speed back, which is interesting. So the information is probably being overwhelmingly told around because it is overwhelmingly being told, because all the information in this video is just so much information information to go over. It's actually ridiculous. So I'm intrigued to all the information. So let's play the clip on how they announced the new studio.
And all I'm going to say is this. If you want to see more from us, a game from us, if you want to like keep the movement going on Twitter, there's a new account that exists, and that is like an amazing way to show that you want us to keep going and you want us to move forward and make a video game in whatever which way we can do it. It exists. Magic Fractal, new game studio.
Sure is.
I just would appreciate you guys if giving it a follow. You don't have to. It's absolutely free to do.
I'll be the community manager, which means there'll be 0 posts.
Wait, does that mean you're on Twitter?
I suppose so. That's as close to me being on Twitter as you're going to get, I suppose.
That's true. Yeah. But like that's also like that's hot tea. Like if you say you're on Twitter, if you say you're managing that account,
I'm not managing that. I'll be looking at that account.
Damn it, Jason! That's how we get more followers.
I can't manage this internet thing.
But that is the place to go to show your support, and that's a great like thing to look at as we're doing this Blundell-a-thon. I want to see more support on that account. It'd be freaking awesome. Obviously, don't feel like you have to, but it would be freaking amazing. And we're gonna continue to give you guys fun content the next couple of weeks. And this stream's not over, by the way. We're about to do something else too. But like that's what this event is all about, man. It's about giving back, being appreciative of the support you guys have given us. And yes, new studio right there.
Third time's the charm.
Third time's the charm. I hope to God.
And if not, it's the 4th time. No, third time's the charm.
So this next part of the video is when Jason Blundell and JC Backfire is kind of playing World at War Zombies, and Jason Blundell is kind of doing like a voiceover commentary of explaining how the map was created, designed, and the kind of backstory of how everything was kind of, glued together as how the map plays now. So basically how this went is it was his first map that he actually helped develop and put Easter eggs inside of this map. So he was not the lead director at the time. He contributed to its development and recently revealed several production secrets about it, such as the origin of Pack a Punch Machine and the iconic teleporters. So this is kind of how this kind of rolls in. He also helped make Mob of the Dead and like Origins and like those masterpieces. He goes in deep detail of why the map is laid out the way it is, and it's crazy. I just love talking about the situation because I have actual matching gameplay to actually match this, so it's not like just random gameplay, and it's insane. Let's go ahead and watch this clip.
Let me get the.
There we go. Opening read. By the way, we're talking about later, like reviewing maps and so forth. The amount of conversations about this opening read and why it would be like this, I could probably spend the entire hour just talking about that opening section, right?
Right.
But as you run around, let me just kind of give you how it was, where it came from.
I love this because, like, by the way, that was gonna be my first question. Is like, why this view?
Yes.
Right here.
Okay, so you remember? So when I got asked to kind of do the zombie map, I knew nothing about zombies. I'd played a little bit of Nacht. That was kind of going around the studio, but I had a full-time job. I was doing my own thing, right? So I'd play a little bit, give some feedback, loved it. But I was very much, to the side, right, but aware that it was happening in the studio. By the time they said come on board, I was like, oh crap, I got to learn this thing. Yeah. So I actually looked at Shinonuma. That's where I started. I looked at Shinonuma and said, what are they doing, right? I saw the dog rounds. I saw the map structure about how it was laid out, right? And the thing that we were doing at the time, because again, this is before zombies would have very, larger budgets. It was always that you'd made the map from somewhere in the campaign. You'd take a section of geo, because otherwise it takes time. Take a section of geo and then repurpose it.
Right.
So, one of our guys who knows who he is, said, okay, this section here from this map looks really good, right?
Yeah. Was that I've always thought of it as Nightfire.
Yeah.
But it was Nightfire. Nightfire was probably actually from Campaign originally too, right?
Yes. Yeah, it's also,
it was Campaign Geo.
Oh, we'd always steal from Campaign because we'd made so much Geo. Right? So because Campaign has to make so much Geo, it's just endless amounts of stuff. Right now, this is the interesting thing, and this kind of echoes into the future a little bit.
Okay.
Which is that when you do that, when you grab some geo, you immediately say, well, it's not ideal. It's not ideal, right? But we didn't have the time, the money, or the staff to kind of do anything else, right? We could do a little bit of changing. We could change a little bit here and there, but you had to, on the most part, be faithful to the piece of geo. So we looked at the space. We were like, it's great. Yeah. We could close that wall off there, and we could funnel you around there, and there's flow control conversations. But it was an acceptance straight off that you had to say, okay, this is the limitations of this space.
Yeah.
And so looking at Shinonuma, we were like, well, we didn't want to truly make a truly circular map. But we also wanted to kind of take you off into different areas. The feeling that if you went this way, got a different feeling to going over there.
Right.
Different section. And so that's where the concept of teleporters came from. Because what we said was we want an unconventional kind of path for the player to be kind of going out and then coming back, and not to be saying to themselves, oh, that's just a frustrating dead end.
You did it as like a sort of positive feeling rather than
yes.
Let me turn it down a
Because
little bit.
you're gonna go into an area, and then let's imagine you don't have the points to do something, or
right.
you know, it's like, okay, how do we get people to want to go to each of the sections?
Yeah.
Right? We knew that people would find their favorite bit, you know, the staircase or the catwalk, and say they're gonna just hunker down there. And so we're like, how do we make sure that every time you play it, you're going to experience all the kind of sections that we put in, right?
Right.
And so that's where the idea of the teleporters came from.
Because it kind of like, it makes you, I would say as like a player, like it makes me, the thing I love about this map is like, it makes me less scared to explore, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's where you're getting at. It's like when I was playing, you know, pause for 1 second, but when I was playing Shionuma, you know, love Shionuma, don't get me wrong. Yep. But when you come back, like you go out to, you know, you have your like hub and spoke, right? And you go out on the spoke, and you come back, it's like, oh God, this is gonna be tough, right? But Riese kind of has this feeling of like, okay, instead of going back, what if we, you know, what if you feel like you're mastering the map by
and it introduces you to the idea which we wanted the map to be about.
Yeah.
And the idea for the map was, how do we get people playing longer?
Right.
Right. We knew we were making a hard game, but we want people to longer. So we said, okay, well, we're going to reward you with the teleporters, but it means you have to come back to link them. And every time you come back to link them, we're setting you up for the payoff, and the payoff is the thing that we want you to do to then be able to play longer. Right?
So it's like prolonged play.
Yeah, so you're basically going to say, go to the 3 teleporters, and every time the door comes down more, which is why when you start off, the door closes to tell you that the door can open.
Right.
Right? And then as you're going to engage with the reason why the map is circular, we reward you by then letting you play longer by giving you the Pack-a-Punch.
Oh, dude.
So that was the logic of it.
Yeah.
My absolute favorite part of this kind of commentary by Jason Blundell is he talks about how the player engages of when the pack-a-punch is kind of closed off. And then when you actually interconnect the teleporters to link it to the main teleporter where you spawned in when you started the match, and you link it, every time you link it, it kind of moves down. And it kind of encourages the player to have a goal set to actually open the pack-a-punch. And this gives replayability, giving you a chance to actually make your gun stronger. It keep playing. It encourages you to play longer, and that is the goal. And just that mindset going into this map is actually pretty crazy. And this is like, you know, one of his first maps that he actually helped develop, and this was a huge key of how he got people to play the map and keep going, especially in their current play session. I thought the same way when I played this map, which is actually kind of crazy. I'm not just saying this because he mentioned this, but when I played World War and Riese for the first time, and I kind of took those gameplay aspects to Black Ops 3 because it was remade for Black Ops 3. I played it during the World War, and I realized that every time I linked it, it would open. I was like, okay, maybe I should find a way to kind of, open that and keep going with this, because it encourages you to play longer. So I was like, okay, I want to play longer and see what this gets me. Obviously, it's a pack-a-punch machine, but when you first play, you don't know what the hell that is. And then I opened it, and it's like, oh, it pack-a-punches your weapon. It makes your gun stronger. And this is the only map in World War that has pack-a-punch, which is actually insane. And then once you get halfway open, it's like, oh, I need another one. I gotta link it again. And then once you actually get it complete open and you pack-a-punch your weapon, that is some like completion kind of happiness in your mind that you actually did something, and it wants you to keep playing because you actually pack-a-punch your weapon, and now your damage is more stronger because you upgraded your weapon to the pack-a-punch machine. It is very interesting how that works and how these small elements that's integrated into these maps that make you add that replayability. It's like adding, the challenges from Grog Crovey on the tombstones, and just keep doing the challenges. Just keep you playing, and just, traps on the map, the main quests, side Easter eggs that keep you playing and have that replayability. And then mostly for modern zombies, it's like the battle pass and blah, blah, blah. Don't want to get into that right now. But moderns, classic zombies, the traditional zombies, I feel like had a way better replayability advantage, because you go in there, you start learning how the map works, how to turn on power, how to turn on pack a punch, how to open it, and how to, open different rooms to get perks and do traps and unlocks different Easter eggs, discover anything that you haven't discovered before. You kind of take that first experience that you've already learned and take that into your second experience, and it just tells you how fast you can learn and pick up on things. And once you do something so many times, you will learn how to do it twice as fast the next time you do it. And that is the key of success and how these maps actually work. It's the same thing. It goes with anything. If you edit a video the first time you do it, you're going to be slow at it. The more you do it, the better you're going to get. And you're going to find ways to, see what stays in the video and what not stays in the video, because that's what the viewer is kind of hooked to of watching. You know what stays in, what doesn't, because you see how videos get more views when they don't. And it's kind of the same thing with the zombies map. It kind of works the same way. And it's very cool how Jason Blundell has this mindset of how people play this map and encourages the player to keep playing. So I think that's really cool.
The obsession, and I mean obsession, was about where the windows were placed. The window placement on boards, again, you got to remember early zombies.
Right.
Changes later, and there's a reason for that. We can talk about that. But right at the early zombies, most of our development was like, why is that window there and not like a meter over? Why is it in that room there? Why is that there? Why is the other one there?
Right.
And that was where we spent a large portion, because now we had the kind of gag of like, okay, we know we can do the teleports, we got the pack-a-punch. You got to remember, back in the day, it was all about the windows. It was all about the boarding up kind of concept.
Right. Jason Blundell explaining how the windows and the barricades work. Why is it there? Why is it not over there? Why is it in this specific location? And kind of map design works as you want to place windows that are designed to make sense where it's actually placed. Showing in their gameplay, like just the light and like the glare shining through that room, that is a perfect example of where that should be placed exactly right there and there, because it's actually a perfect placement, because you can actually see the light going through the whole entire room, and it's not dark or it's not gritty. It's a good lighting on the barricade where you can actually see in that whole entire room, and it lets you walk through there without, should I go in there or should I go in there? And it does give you like, why are barricades in there? And it kind of forces you, not really forces you, but it kind of like leads you on to, I should barricade this window, maybe, barricade a little bit so it stops zombies from coming in faster. So that's why the barricades are kind of there. It kind of makes the strategies. And that's where the next video goes in, strategies. And a lot of people are going to say, if you played Riese or the Giant for Black Ops 3, your number one strategy is probably sitting on the catwalk. The only thing that can come from is right in front of you. And then if you get, in a sturdy or a sticky situation, you jump out the side of the edge onto the platform. Hopefully you don't die on the way down. And that is a very tricky spot to sit at, because if you're, running out of ammo, you got to push up a little bit, or if you're too far back, you can't jump down, because if you're out of ammo, you're screwed. There's going to be different strategies you're actually going to do. You're going to prop up in a corner, or if at the time, I don't know, training or running in circles around the map was actually a kind of a tactic or like a strategy back in the day. You can start making trains of zombies and just kind of make up a strategy where you're going to play. So the first strategy for you camping on the catwalk, or the second strategy can be for you to do something else. And this is where the conversation leads into this video, because it's kind of cool how I can, talk about my own kind of expression and how I dealt with this kind of gameplay experiences with my friends when I played it back in the day, and they kind of explain it in their way, and how Jason Blundell kind of, didn't really create it, but when you actually make a map like this, it kind of when more people play your game, they create strategies to survive longer. And this is what these ideas come from. And when you start playing with your friends, you also come up with ideas, sitting on the catwalk or sitting in a specific location where you wouldn't think the developers would think that you would actually sit at, but it's a thing now. So it is actually really crazy and how to think about that years later.
I mean, at this point, I training really hasn't training happened more on Shionuma. You know, me and my friends when I was playing, we were doing more of the bunker down camp, defend a point type gameplay, which is a lot of my core memories on this map. Again, like Riese Catwalk is iconic for that because you're constantly just going, okay, let's go, let's get all of our stuff, let's get all set up, let's get Pack-a-Punch, let's get the things, and let's go and find the best optimal spot with all the windows. There's actually there's a spot on this map. I'm gonna be cheeky because I'm cheating.
Don't
today
show me
playing.
all the glitches. Don't be like,
No,
you do know
it's not a glitch.
You can stand on this ledge up here and
No. Actually, I'll show you when I come back around. So like me and my friend's strategy, actually, we used to camp over here sometimes. Actually, behind this, we would keep this door shut, and we would go this route most of the time. And we would like go over there because you see that window back there.
Even that, talking about the fact there's a gap between the door and the wall was a conversation.
Oh, like this to this, so you can see the window over there.
Yeah.
Going into this next segment kind of explains how the cost of animations of certain weapons and even the monkey bomb and how Nolan North was actually the voice actor behind that specific item. Well, yeah, monkey bomb and zombies. And they kind of explain the cheap of how things are created, the cheapest things, because there's one singular animation for specific things, and weapons are going to cost more because it has like the reload animation, you have the sprinting or the running animation, you have the shooting or out of ammo. It has so much more animations that a singular monkey bomb has, and he explains why is that, and it goes into other sound design and other things, very deep detail on the map design and how sound works. It's absolutely incredible how someone like this over the years can remember what they worked on and just remember all these crazy kind of moments in history of where he actually made these kind of experiments throughout his experience and actually be able to talk about it throughout his life experience like he's doing now, which is a great example of how things can be made very positively and explained very well and feature in this kind of situation here, which is kind of cool.
So
Interesting.
I mean, like there was, it's like, the Bowie knife, right? Why the Bowie knife? Well, we didn't have enough time or resources to make weapons in that way. But a knife, a melee weapon, is the cheapest thing you could make and the fastest thing you could make. And it was something that had not been touched, so that's why the Bowie knife existed. And funny story about the Bowie knife. I'll tell you about the placement of it and why it was there. But we had a weapons artist who's now a very successful producer, actually, in his own right. But he went out and found a wooden sleeper, that goes under train track, right? Those big wooden things. He got me one of them, and he sawed it down and then put the Bowie knife logo in white on it and gave it to me as a present with literally a brass thing underneath that said the number of points. That was all correct.
That's amazing.
The problem was he got it from, like I say, this train track. Those things are like coated in toxic chemicals. And he put it in the office, and it stank out the office so much. And then I was like, I think I turned to one of my lead designers and said, you know what, you should have this. And then he, I think, gave it all to, and we all were trying to, and after like 3 years, the smell had a half-life of about 3 years. And then it calmed down. So I'm sure somewhere in Treyarch, there's the Bowie knife thing that was given to me on Riese, which probably now is not toxic and poisonous anymore. But it was like, where do we put that? How do we show off that? Right? How do we do something new? That was that, and it was that. And then we said, okay, that's cheap. We can do that.
Right.
What's the other cheap thing we could do? The monkey bomb. And that's where the monkey bomb idea came from.
Why? So explain why is that cheap to do? Why is the monkey bomb cheap to do compared to other things?
So it's a singular model,
right,
with one animation, and then everything else is kind of script controlled, right? A weapon takes a lot more time and effort, and there's a lot more scrutiny on it.
And there's also like
a lot of animation, all these other things, right? So again, we were trying to make this map fast, right? It had to kind of go, we started new, we know we were new, and so it's like, let's not overcomplicate it, let's go fast, and let's get to the core of what we're trying to do. And so the monkey bomb was a really kind of fun little twist that we were putting in it, and that was the other thing as well. We wanted, before it had, the dialogue was very, how to describe it? It's very blatant, right? It's very kind of like stereotypes, here it is, right? We were starting to talk about like, okay, we want a little bit of the anti-authority vibe coming through a little bit, and we wanted a little bit of the subversion coming through. People might not know this, but the voice actor we did then for the monkey bomb was Nolan North, right?
Yeah.
And so when we got in there, he, one of the first questions he asked us, he said, what voice do you want, right? Because Nolan's incredibly talented guy. Obviously, you don't need me to say that. And he gave us a version which was Christopher Walken bomb. That was one thing we had. He recorded all the lines like, like lines like, Sam, I'm come to get you. And I won't do any more Christopher Walken impressions.
but Nolan North does a fantastic Christopher Walken impression. So it was funny sitting there in the recording booth having Nolan North do all the monkey bomb. We had loads of lines of Christopher Walken
That's
monkey
amazing.
bomb. So, but obviously for legal reasons, that's never released. But yeah, it was the idea of something that was kind of quirky. It was something that was a little bit. It's got like a dark edge to it, right? So it's got it's a symbol monkey that's got explosives on it. So that really kind of spoke to our kind of punk, kind of rock and roll aspect side of it that we really wanted to kind of get in there. And it was something that the sound department had, unsung heroes, pun intended, was that the sound department were a very integral part of those early Mac. Again, certain directors know who they are. When I started doing with this, and our group started, the first people I go and see was the sound department,
right?
Because they'd been so passionate about putting the Easter eggs into the past and having sound Easter eggs, if you will. And so they were like my first partner. I was like, okay, sound department is instrumental, instrumental in this, and stayed instrumental.
I still think, I mean, this is me talking, but like I have always assumed that, and correct me if I'm wrong, but like I've always assumed that the sound department was like a lot of early stuff like was them just having fun.
Yes.
And just going like, okay,
oh yes,
what if we did this weird sound? What if we did this and that could make something out of this and someone thinks that's really cool.
I will say this, right? When I first started going, the person that I actually wanted the approval from, they can laugh and they can send me a message later, was actually the sound department.
Yeah.
That was who I actually was interested on whether we'd lived up to the zombie name, was
right.
if the sound department actually thought that we'd done something special.
That's amazing.
Because they were so passionate and enthusiastic about it. And so that's why I'd make sure we'd do our music videos, and I'd always ask them for the songs. Even later on when, those guys are working around the clock, and I'm like, you got to do a song. And they're like, not now. I'm like, no, you have to. They love doing that stuff. But, I would come and ask them for a song every single time, and then I'd want the music videos and so forth. Because I just felt that was the heart and soul of the mode, which was
it's kind of like the MVP like award.
Yeah,
if I could give it as a fan, like because I think sound is an interesting way to tell story without a crazy budget.
Well,
right.
So in the games industry, we say that sound is half your visual, right?
Fair enough.
So you want to get your sound department on side, because then your visuals are going to look better.
Yeah.
Right. Because it's going to feel better.
Yeah.
And then the other person, I mean, it wasn't a group at that time. It was Craig, right? And I'll mention him briefly here, but he just got to let loose on this. And so, I'd known him for a very, very long time, and we just started playing, and he did, he's doing all the writing. The thing that I can do is permission to let's play. Yeah. Let's go, right? Let's get that space. Later on, our collaboration would get kind of tighter and so forth. But in these early days, it was permission to play, the permission to have fun, the permission to kind of start to kind of spin the story out in a more fantastical way, teleporting walnuts and so forth, right? It was all like, it was like, let's have a bit more fun, let's open this world up, right? In terms of, the whole hidden storytelling of radios and all this fun stuff, which again, something the sound department had done lots of. It's like, okay, let's do that, but now let's put, a writer from the campaign world,
right,
and really kind of go to town, right? Because when we're doing a campaign, even like something like a Black Ops 1, where later on you might say, oh, up to Black Ops 3 of absolute insanity, there's all that creativity, and you've got to channel it into a World War II game, or you've got to channel it into... So it's like, okay, zombies is the permission to kind of go further. We can go further. Yeah. But we've still got to, keep in mind that we're on Call of Duty, right?
So if you don't mind me asking...
On Call of Duty, right?
So if you don't mind me asking, on that note, right, like something that's near and dear to my... Oh, we got dog round. Hell yeah. Speaking of
and again,
terrifying sounds.
That because we were like, Shinanuma did it. So
yeah,
we should have continuity into the series, right?
If you don't mind me asking, like, for you guys, or like, give me the perspective from you of, you're coming into this thing. This is you're making Riese. How do you find out about like Samantha and all that kind of stuff? And it's like, so do you hear about like, okay, because to me those radios are so important to the legacy of the mode. I feel like in so many ways the story really kicked off here, which is funny because the text on the map has always said like, is this where it all ends? It's like, nuh-uh. So like, sorry, honey, there's way more down the road. But it actually, like, I feel like a lot of it began here and solidified. Maybe solidified is the right word.
Yeah.
So did you like, you hear about the Samantha concept and then you guys just go crazy and like and riff on it? Like what's the vibe?
So obviously I could talk to Jimmy, right, who's there. But in a weird way, I didn't want to too much because I knew I was taking something, and so I've got to be respectful of what's been done before, but I don't want to be beholden to it as well, right? So again, the place where I went to was the sound department because everything had gone through them. They'd
Right.
heard every line of dialogue written because
Yep.
they did it.
Yep.
So when I talked to them, I was saying, what's your perspective on it? What are we hearing? And because they had already ingested stuff from the team that had worked on it before,
Right.
they had this kind of shape in their mind. But that's where they were heading their audio Easter eggs for. So I was like, okay, I'll get on that train. Tell me what's kind of going on. Tell me what we're up to. I could always then seek clarification on little kind of, bits and bobs in the past, right?
Right.
But I felt like they were the ones keeping the torch going. And in my mind, they would be the continuity if I put it down again. That, I needed a group that I'd send it to.
Yep.
So that then if someone else picked it up, again, the sound department would be the heart of this thing and would be able to move it forward. Right?
Gotcha. Okay.
So making a map can make simple things so dynamic the way you could see. There's small little changes that can open pathways to different sides of the map that make it much easier. Specifically on Riese, there's this giant bridge. Well, it's not really a giant bridge, but it's above the trap in Riese. Once you turn on the power, you will see this kind of little small bridge connected to the point A building and the point right building. Kind of, come together, and it kind of, snaps together, and you can go to the one building to the other building, and it makes it, more interconnected. It makes it more dynamic, so you can walk to the other side without going all the way around, which is quite nice. This makes going to point A and point B very quickly. And this is how this part of the map made it more complex in some ways. So you can actually, go over there and get Juggernaut without, you can go to the right side to get up there. But if you're like in the left area around where that random perk is, if you went to the right side of the spawn area, if you're on that side, you have you can have the option to go from that side to the other side. And before that bridge was actually, before you activate the power and it's, not down yet, you can actually go to that area and just drop down. But you still can if the bridge is still there. You have the option to do that. But this gives you more reasons to do this and do that. And it gives you more accessibility and more dynamic ways to play the game that you couldn't before without the bridge being down when you turn on the power.
By the way, I was gonna ask you this, but do you, from a director's standpoint, do you see power like this moment right here?
Yep.
Right? It's like the map goes from, hey, you've explored, you've found this thing. It's making such loud noise, drawing your attention to it.
Yeah.
Do you kind of see this as you're in Act 2 now of the flow of the game?
So that bridge coming down was a big deal.
Yeah.
I
imagine.
That was the whole conversation, which was, we talked about the idea of how do we make a dynamic map? And, I think I was told pretty early on, or the designers told us pretty early on, which is we can only be so dynamic. You remember these maps these are made with brushes inside Radiant, right? It's not made like we make now with, 3D package engines, right? There's a lot of work to move stuff.
Yeah.
And so, if I'd said, well, okay, I want a dynamic map, they're like, woo, that goes against we've got to do it in this amount of time, Jason. So it's like, okay, well, how do we have it so that once you get to a certain point, then suddenly the way you approach the map now changes.
And you feel that satisfying moment. You get that, I feel like this, like nowadays we always talk about dopamine and stuff like that. It is a dopamine hit when you go up here and you do the thing and you're like, okay, we did it. We got to that point. It feels like a milestone.
So we call it celebration, right? So we talk about celebration, the first lift of a weapon is a celebration, right? How do you have a celebration moment? So the turning on the power is a celebration. How do we do particles? How do we do sound? Is something moving and catching your eye? There was a whole conversation about if you press the button, are you not going to be able to see the bridge because you're looking too much at the thing?
Oh my God.
And we spent ages looking at going, is there a way we can set an angle up so that you can pull it and immediately see it? Because there was this worry that you'd flip the switch on and then not see the bridge come down and we'd kind of miss the moment.
That's true because now I'm looking, let me turn it down a little bit more because it's getting loud. I want them to hear you more in the game this time around. But you could have put the switch here or here, but you put it on the back side so you see the bridge. I never thought about that, but that's so true.
Right, and then also had the trap set up as well.
Right. That's so interesting. I've never thought about that. It's kind of weird because I feel like there's, from the standpoint of we want you to turn on the power.
Yep.
You might want to put it when you first drop down and you see it right there, but instead here it's the box, and this is just on the back side. It's kind of interesting.
There was a whole conversation about putting the magic box on that side and the power on the other side. So the power had to go there because we wanted the read of it.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, why are we putting the magic box here? It's because we're going to reward you for getting this deep into the map.
And we want to show you that first.
And we're going to show you that first, right? But we'll hold you back for one more door, and then we're going to do the Bowie knife.
Right.
And then we're going to do the teleporter. right? So that was the thought, which is like, okay, once you're into the central channel and you've made it this far, then it kind of rolls and brings you to the end, and then you just kind of, and now the world has changed. So when you come back, the next time you go out, the bridge is now connected. It's now a different flow.
On this specific topic on the next segment here was really interesting. You know, JC was about to talk about something, which we don't know. And then we go in here and then he starts talking about the barrels inside the map, which these are kind of small objects that are kind of on the map that stop you from going into certain directions. If it wasn't there, you know, you can just run through there. And now they're there. Now you can get more trapped in this area, depending if you go left or right or around it, depending on the situation. You can get cock blocked in the situation very quickly. There's too many zombies and you're there at the wrong time or at the right time, whatever this situation may be, you can die easily at this location. Depending on where objects and barrels or boxes, whatever it is that can be placed in certain locations of the map, they're there for a reason, not just to be there for shits and giggles. It kind of changes how the map plays. You think like, okay, if that wasn't there, I'll be able to do something else. But since it's there, you gotta have to change your strat. And he kind of like explains why they're there and why it's important for them to have them there, or if they wasn't there. I think having that gameplay aspect in your head of just thinking that situation is kind of crazy. This kind of like adds, it's not just this game, but there's other games that kind of add that element to the game too. It's not just zombies that follow this rule, it's just other games do the same thing, and it's really cool. So Jason Blundell, take it from here.
The thing I was gonna say, we've talked about this a lot, right? Just in game design in general.
And let me tell you about those barrels.
What, these?
All of them. Those
Yeah?
barrels about flow control. And so no objects are placed, like what we place down and you see as being artistic is actually us talking about flow control of the enemies and the player as well, right?
Yeah.
Because when you first get a space, you leave it deliberately wide and deliberately flat.
Right.
And then it's about shaping the actual flow. So if those barrels weren't there, it's a totally different experience. And the actual shape and where you put the barrels radically changes your experience.
It's so funny too, because like, yeah, this room's pretty big, and if these weren't here, oh man, you'd just be.
It's totally different.
Yeah.
Right? Every time you see a prop in these maps, it's not just a decoration prop. It's because we want to control something. We either want to do a split or we want to just set you up for a 3-path, right? The old classic 3-path. Whatever we're going to do, you know, if we're putting around the edge, also, we want to discourage because people do a lot of backup firing.
Right.
So when we kind of do that, we actually make things so it's a different shape. So you hit and then move and fall
And
back.
it curves to like flow you around.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like this, right? Like it kind of has that curved edge.
Because a
to
lot
it.
of people are backing up and
Right.
firing, and they can't look where, you know, we don't put a rear view mirror on it. So
Right.
when you hit it, you know where you are to slide off.
Yeah. And you just don't, that's just a subconscious thing as well.
Yep.
That's really cool.
All right, so this next segment is very important how you play a map. When you first spawn in the map, you kind of have that outside look of what the map actually looks like. And sometimes you can see outside the map and sometimes you can't. Depending on the structure of the doors and how they're kind of shaped and designed, you can actually see through the cracks and see what is clearly on the other side. Well, kind of a little bit. It kind of gives you that sneak preview of what could be on the other side. And you have different pathways you can actually take. And there's different cracks in these doors you can actually see in those rooms. And some windows will be placed on these doors so you can actually jump and see through the other room. And it kind of teases you. It's not just like a shut door and it just you can't really see anything. What does really good with this is these doors actually have these cracks where you can actually see between them. We'll see like, you know, through them a little bit and you can see what's on the other side. It kind of teases you. I feel like if it didn't have that, you wouldn't really have a choice to, you know, take this path or take that path. And that is kind of the philosophy of how this map works. And it's cool because if the cracks wasn't there at the doors, you wouldn't have those thoughts of options of, okay, I see like, you know, I see a timing gun on this wall on the right side of this door. I can see through the crack. Should I go this way? Or on the left-hand side, you look to the left and you see like, you know, you see a barricade window there. And you don't want to go that way because it doesn't seem interesting. But you look through the crack on the right side door. Okay, I want to see that Tommy gun. I want to go grab that. Then you explore beyond that. And it's like, oh, there's a fireplace back here. Oh, there's a help printed in blood on the wall. That is crazy. And then you have like this kind of weird spiral staircase going up, leading onto this other floor. Then it leads onto the right side of this next room where the teleporter is. And you have those two windows kind of implemented into the door. You can just jump and see through it. And it gives you those kind of areas to look through without buying the door. They give you those thoughts thoughts of where to actually, make your next purchase, where you want to go that way or go back the other way. And it just gives you those kind of general directions of where you want to go just by looking at the structural kind of structure of the windows of the doors, whatever you can actually see. It's kind of cool because if those areas were just didn't have those cracks or like no windows on those doors, it's like a plain shut door that's basically a wall, and just like, purchase this and you don't know what's behind it, it's less intriguing, it's less, not really friendly. I think the kind of foundation of it teasing you through those cracks and seeing through those areas that you couldn't see before, it encourages you to purchase that door, go for that goal that you see through the crack or whatever you're looking at, and it's like it reveals more than you actually saw, and it's more rewarding. So you kind of just choose paths. This kind of works on other maps. You'll see like a barricade in front of you, but you can see like, a little bit outside, but you actually purchase that area. It's like, oh, there's this back here, there's that back here. It's just that kind of element inside of these maps just make what makes these maps so traditional and just classic, and just makes those decisions so good. And this works on newer maps, Modern Zombies, Classic Zombies works on both. Just back in the day, when you actually think about it, it just gives you those thoughts, and it just tells you how map design works, and it's cool.
Now the thing I want to mention too, if we go back to the beginning of the map, this is why I was taking so long to open the door, but I wanted him to keep going, chat. But like we've talked about this a lot, but like in and out moments, right? So when you start in the map, you have some options. I love the choices that you have, right? Like you have this, and you have this. And I do want to ask you a question about the choices in a second. What I love is like you open this up, this door is closed. This is the power wall. Yep. That's blocking you. You have a couple of windows to take care of. You have a cool weapon here. And what I love is that like, especially with how some of these doors are, you put like little like the way that these doors have like the windows through them, so you can kind of see like what the next room is. But you're like, oh, do I want to go in there? And it's like, and I can see that gun is through I'm pretty sure you can see the Thompson through the wall or through the door, through the little like slit in the window. Yep. And you have this moment where it's like, okay, again, outside, small room, bigger room inside, and it kind of surprises you. But then, and it's like, wait, in verticality, okay, I'm going up. Yep. And then it's like, okay, where am I going? I have options again. I have this. I can peer through and see things, or I can go this way, right? And it's like a drop down. It's like, what I love is like it's as simple as like, you're giving me variety, right? You're giving me a variety of things I'm looking at, things I'm thinking about, and the moment of opening a door, especially back in the day in a map like this, felt so impactful with like the discovery nature, because you didn't know, like I didn't know what zombies was too much back when Riese was happening. It was like, it could be anything. I don't know what they're gonna do. And opening a door and just seeing what the room was, and then just being like, wait, how big is it? Wait, hold on. There's a secret room? Oh my God, there's another thing in here. What is this thing? Like, the sort of variety of like making sure rooms back to back are not the same, I think is like really, really important. And just for me as like level design and stuff, just in general with games, I really love like doing that thing where it's like, okay, now we narrow you in, and now we show something wide again, and now we narrow you in, and now we show you something wide again. And that's something that like I don't know, you were always like telling me to
let me tell you where I got my inspiration from.
So this next part is very interesting, and they talk about the kind of art direction and the lighting of where specific things are kind of located. Like, why is this cabinet like so bright? Why is this light coming through this barricade? Why is it like lighting this room up? Why is there lights in these areas that is like, there's like a way the map is formatted and the way you see things, and there's certain lights of like hallways, like there's street lights, there's like lamps in the sky, there's all these things that really put the map to kind of put certain areas of lights that the game wants you to see, but if it wasn't there, you wouldn't be able to have that experience for this map. And I feel like this next segment is very important, how you see the map and like the lighting wise, and like the color and the colors and the lighting and itself, the atmospheric of how the map actually rolls out. Because when you're actually looking at a map, you're looking at the colors. You're not just looking through the cracks of the walls, just seeing what's on the other side to see what door you're going to purchase next. It's the colors that you're seeing on your screen, what leads to the next area. Like, you get a barrel on fire, you see that. So you have the windows, different lights and how things are centered to make you look at things that wasn't really, like, what if it wasn't there before without the light? It just wouldn't be nothing at that point. So that's why they add light to specific things to make it come back to life and have that kind of realism of that light being there and showing and revealing more of the map of what you couldn't see if the light wasn't there. And this just kind of gives it more like freedom of what you can actually see, because light in certain areas can make the map or the area that you're in more vibrant and more bright, so you can actually see, and you can actually see in you can see around you and your peripheral, and it just, you're gonna like certain areas because how the lighting is, or it's cool how it's set up.
One of my favorite directors is a director called Irving Kershner, and he directed Empire Strikes Back.
Nice. Yeah.
And if you look at Empire Strikes Back,
Emmy's gonna be so happy.
Why it feels different from the other ones is he using the Hoth base and so forth. He brings you in tight and show you claustrophobia, and then he then kind of counterpoints it then with a wide open space. And what it tells you is that the universe is big, the world is big, right? So then when you go to Dagobah later on, again you're going wide kind of shot, and then you go inside Yoda's house, tight again, right? And what you're doing by kind of changing the kind of the framing, you now feel like there's a world of possibility. Now the statement I made before, which was, well, I got this geo, that's all we kind of got. You can do that with texture and color and lighting. You can also do it with the geo as well to make it kind of more claustrophobic. But what you're trying to do is, with those things, you can make it feel like tighter here and then wider here. Even if the actual footprint is roughly about the same, you want it to feel more claustrophobic. So for instance, over where the furnace is, and it's darker with the dark reds, deep reds, it feels tighter, it feels closer.
Because it feels more chaotic because of the color.
Yeah, now the space is not wide open, but it then feels more claustrophobic, right?
That's interesting. Because like you get like sort of like the more like blue tone out here when you're a little bit more like safe.
Yeah, and you're doing it with a limited palette because you've got a limited set of textures here, right? And again, that's something that the art director is obviously kind of coming in and directing. But that feeling of you can imagine this facility can get very samey very quickly. And so what really good art directors, which Treyarch have, was about kind of controlling the experience. Why does that look like that? Why is that specular highlight on that filing cabinet so hot? Because we just went through a neutral space.
Right.
So I need to put a bright thing there around the corner. Right. So he'll talk about turning up the intensity there. So there's always something catching the eye. And what you want to do is wherever you are, there's something that's drawing the eye to the next place. And what you'd ideally want is 2 to 3 of them. Now that can sometimes be a fire burning. It could be a light down a corridor. It could be the color of the green thing on a trap, right? But we're looking and saying, okay, what's catching the eye at this point? You never want to look out and basically just have a neutral experience. Right. You've got to have something that leads you.
Well, see, that's so one of my favorite games of all time. It's Fallout New Vegas.
Okay.
But it's actually something in like all the Fallout games though. But I don't know why I always just think of Fallout New Vegas a lot. And I would say that Breath of the Wild also is a good example of a game that does this really well, right? Like anywhere you go in like Fallout New Vegas, they always say that too. It's like you want like a POI to catch your attention, and there's probably like you said, like probably about 2. Or 2 or 3 or whatever. 2 or 3 things that like tempt you, and then and if you're playing Breath of the Wild, the shrines everywhere, like it catches your eye so easily. We're like, well, I gotta keep playing because I see something that catches my eye that way, and I gotta go over there because that looks interesting. And I don't know what it is about that. Like it is 2 to 3 things. I don't know why is that the magic rule. I don't know.
So if you start studying like neuropsychology and so forth, you realize that they teach that perception. There's a series of stages your brain goes through to actually understand an image. Right. It starts off with something called the primal sketch, which basically just has outlines and overlaps. Right. But then texture, lighting, right, and your brain then starts working out what's in front of what. There's certain rules. That's how optical illusions work. Because our mind's configured to understand certain things, right? So you start thinking about color theory. You start talking about blinking things, moving things, right? Primary colors.
Sorry.
Nice. And when you're working with a limited kind of set, it was like that's where the conversations were, which was like, okay, well, we can't do the same gag again. Let's do the light coming through the window, and we're going to highlight the god rays, right? And what we're going to do, we're going to artificially boost it because we don't have anything else to draw attention in that corner, and we just used the green thing before for the perk machine. So what we're going to do around this corner, and so that's where we're going to go around and say, okay, this at this point draws your eye, this at this point draws your eye.
Oh, dude, I love that stuff so much because like there's so like if you get into the flow state playing a map, it's so just
if you do it right, they shouldn't be conscious of it.
Right.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
Right. If it's like going, come over here, like we've failed already. it's like it should run around and just hopefully they're not noticing what we're doing, right? That's the goal of good art direction.
I'm sure there's always like a debate in the game industry of like I'm sure you've seen the yellow paint debate.
No, I've not.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
There's I think it's a big debate around accessibility versus like, do you make it accessible to find where you need to go as quickly as possible, or do you make them, or do you do it subconsciously like you're talking about, or do you do it in a way of like, no, you figure it out. There's like levels to it, right?
But the answer to that is it all depends what you're trying to do. So because each one of those has its place.
Right.
If I'm making a campaign, I'm going to use certain techniques because I'm making a campaign. If I'm making zombies, I'm going to use different techniques.
Right.
It's like there's a great book by the author Bruce Block who talks about the visual language, right? And it talks about things like, diagonal lines are the highest tension line you can represent, right? So diagonals are used in movies. You're going to show a bad guy in the background. There's diagonal lines to show that he's the bad guy. High tension,
like triangles and stuff too.
Yeah, like vertical lines, horizontal lines have, horizontal line is the most passive line. Vertical line basically tells you about direction. Diagonal tells you about danger. Right?
Yes.
And Bruce goes through all these amazing things.
I have to go all the way around because I want to show you my camping spot. So I'm gonna see if I can do this.
But those concepts and those ideas, especially when you're doing a very small map, which when you compare this to, let's say, a Shadows of Evil, this is so focused. And we're like, okay, how do we give quality? But with a very tight, footprint, we had to go to those thoughts and those discussions.
That's amazing. Let's see. Oh, back to this, because I did want to ask you about this. By the way, love that you guys just
along with Riese, it comes with this kind of satisfaction of you're actually completing something, which is every time you get teleported to the main frame, it will give you a free reward, which is like a perk. And sometimes it won't give you anything at all. Sometimes it'll give you like a hellhound or something. But this adds replayability. He was talking further about the pack-a-punch machine, how it can if something can close, you can make it open. It encourage players to keep moving to that main objective and just keep you attached to that main of like what you want, like what the game wants you to do. And it just keeps you going. And that's why how the map is set up to do what it wants you to do, so you can actually keep playing the game and have that replayability. Because when you play maps, you're like, okay, I want to do this, I want to do that. That's how map kind of hooks you, because you want to do that specific thing. And that's just what maps do to kind of hook you and keep playing.
Positive reinforcement. Reward the player for teleporting.
Yep.
Give them a little goodie. Sometimes it might do something weird. It just adds to this like chaotic nature to the game.
Yeah.
Like I love that stuff. Love it. The smoke coming out of this, teasing you, and you're like, the hell is this? And again, like, was that the reason why the first read is looking at it? Because you wanted us to see this.
Yeah, you want it
first go.
How do you set up a goal without telling people it's a goal? So in a campaign, you have to
Place
tell
it right in front of it.
You put it right in front of it, and you show it closing, because if it can close, it can open.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's the whole point. If it started, there's a whole debate about, does it start closed? No, it starts open and is closing.
Yeah.
Because it tells you, and again, you're talking about a world of possibility. Then you start going into the Easter eggs and all that other fun stuff, right?
And then you go, what else can open?
Right. So then you're now setting up a world of possibility.
Yeah.
Like the Easter eggs, the kind of the beginning of the ciphers and so forth was again, we talk about the Charlie bucket, right? Charlie in the chocolate factory, right? The idea that it could be you could find something, and with the idea of that kind of rock and roll kind of anti-authority kind of vibe going on a little bit, like the developers are a little bit running the asylum a little bit, that feeling. You want to make it so that when things are being found, there's, well, if it's this, what else is this?
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
That was a very important, and it was like, how do we do that without looking cheesy, without looking like we are deliberately doing it? How does it feel organic? Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So the most important thing about your games is actually pack-a-punching your weapons and how they're called different names, and how each weapon can be normal when you use it, but when you pack-a-punch it, it can change it tremendously and it can change your game crazy. He also talks about how the Mustang and Sally is created. He wanted the A pistol to kind of shoot these missiles and explode on impact. Just crazy amounts of damage around you, causing your screen to completely shake. Basically, what this does is you take like a normal 1911, just a basic, a basic pistol, and you're like, you know what, let's go pack-a-punch and see what it does. And it turns into dual-wield Mustang and Sally's. One gun left, one gun on the right. Shoot them both, they explode, destroying everything around you. Screen shakes, everything. It's like an earthquake hit your screen. That is the impact that has of what does this gun do when you pack-a-punch it. The idea behind it kind of makes you want to, get other weapons and play longer. That replayability of you wanting to play and play and play. honestly encouraged me to play more zombies, is just getting those weapons and see what it does. You know, pack punching, you know, the M14 or the Olympia, you know, see what those guns do. Are they gonna, like, you know, be fully automatic? Are they gonna be semi-auto? Are they going to do more damage? Is it gonna have an extra, you know, ability to it where you don't know what it's gonna do? So it can turn like a semi-auto or like a burst rifle into like an automatic, just like the M16. You don't know what the possibilities are of when pack punching a weapon. It can add extra layer of gameplay, replayability, and adds that more excitement. And just the names behind some of these guns are just hilarious to find. It's hilarious.
Oh man, I just love like me and my buddy Liam, as you know Liam.
Yeah.
Me and Liam have talked a lot about how, and again, I think obviously, I don't think, I know if I ask you this question, you're gonna go, we didn't realize how iconic Riese would be.
Sure.
'Cause of course, like, you just wouldn't
Absolutely
know,
not, no.
right?
God, no.
But to us, like,
Our goal was don't mess it up. That's how we. That's where I was.
it's so funny because it like excelled everything so much, and even like when it comes to like Pack-a-Punch, and when it comes to like just the amount, like there's more depth to the experience in my opinion. It sort of like changed our like psychology of how we play. Like it changed the vibe of how we load in, because it was like a world of opportunity, like you're saying. When you Pack-a-Punch and you see that it does something, the game doesn't even tell you what it does really.
That's why I wanted the pistol to fire rockets, by the way.
Yeah, 100%.
That was a big. I remember the conversation about that was really, Jay, and I was like, yeah, because when you do that, it says what else could happen.
Yes.
So the whole point about making the pistol fire rockets was take the thing that, and by the way, I love the underdog anyway.
Yeah.
So the idea being the pistol is one of the most powerful things you can get. I was like, okay, that really f's with them, because it basically says if that's possible, what else is possible?
Yeah,
right.
And then you go, okay, well maybe the M1A1 carbine, maybe it can do some. Oh my God, shoots automatic. What?
Well, you know, because
like,
we were having conversations like, you know, maybe if you jump up and down 3 times, spin round and press X on this wall, something special happens. It's like, okay, everything we do should be setting up that is a completely viable thing for you to try.
This next segment is very more insane. We have the clocks in Riese, also on the Giant, because it's basically the same map, and how these are interconnected. And basically, Jason Blundell explanation recently, it was explained that the clock being stuck represents the concept of stopping time and forcing players to continue playing and get themselves up, and a concept linked to the afterlife modes. We also had like the fly trap Easter egg, although not directly interacting with the clocks. The map features a fly trap Easter egg and a 2-step process to get free weapon fire power. The 115 time is consistently used to signify Element 115's influence throughout the Zombies universe, which is impressive. And the clock itself is a direct reference to Element 115, the fictional element powering the Zombie storyline. While there is no major Easter egg attached to them, the clock symbolizes them the theme of the time, the creation of the undead, the introduction of the time travel, and the map, which is crazy. It explains the events of the Giant. That cutscene explains the clock and how the events and time travel works and how time can stop. That is very impressive. And he explains this quite well. And as I'm watching this video, I learned more about zombies. I learned more lore about it than I never learned about before. And I'm getting more knowledge, learning more about these maps. And this is only the first map. Just imagine how much knowledge is on the other maps. I can imagine how much information is on other maps. That is ridiculous. And it would be so much fun if he actually did this for every map that he made. That'd be so much fun. I would love to see his, you know, his development experience with Mob of the Dead, or like Origins, or like even Black Ops 4. And one of my favorite maps from Black Ops 4 is actually Agent Evil, which is kind of cool. So back to the video.
there's your
you go.
baby, by the way.
Right as you open the door, right?
Right there.
Yep.
Oh,
And then you've got the clock, right? And you got the clock, and the clock is setting up the idea of the cycle,
stop.
because the clock is stuck in time.
Stop. Stop, dude! You know how old this map is? So old, Jason. It's so old.
So the
like
concept- so the
you're
con-
telling me you're setting that up then?
Well, no, because we hadn't finished the idea, but the concept was, in the same way I said that Pack-a-Punch was about extending time, right?
Right.
You can play longer, right? Well, then Afterlife is the finishing of that idea, which is, okay, so your weapons take you longer. Now death doesn't slow you down, so now I've got you even longer, right? So you could look at...
Afterlife is a Mob of the Dead.
You could do a dotted line between the Pack-a-Punch
Yeah.
and Afterlife and see it as a kind of continuation of an idea, right?
Damn.
But the idea being of, what do we want you to do? This is apropos. We want you to play again. We want you to get yourself up, dust yourself off, and play again, right? And the idea of time being paused or stopped was the idea that you just got to keep going. You got to do it again. You got to do it again. Because things won't be right until you've achieved it, right? So that's why the clock was ticking.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Chat went cinema. Oh, by the way, there it is. Sorry, I missed the door closing or opening. Sorry, chat. So good. It's such a simple thing, just putting a little power up there. Like, it's one of those things that.
Well, again, these restrictions, and you see that a lot in campaigns. Restrictions is where the creativity comes from. It's actually harder when you look at some of our later maps where we had a bit more time, or actually not much more time, but a bit more resource or a bit more, something else. They became hard in a different way.
Right.
Because.
Oh God. Oh God. Don't worry.
Oh, you got you.
No. I don't have anything on. What are you talking about?
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah. But yeah, that the bigger resources actually makes more of a challenge in a different way.
Right. Because then it's like, well,
when you
when
don't,
when it's blue sky, you're like, wait.
Well, yeah. Where
do we go?
When it's blue sky, that's why my job as a director pretty quickly is to put limits and put a box around things as quickly as possible. Because if you have blue sky, the blank page, you can go forever. It's like software that doesn't have restraints around it, never gets finished, right? Because you're like, well, I could always do that. I'll do that. I'll do that.
Do you have a map that you feel like was too blue sky? Like, do you feel like it did?
Well, yeah.
You wish there was maybe even more constraints on it.
Oh man, I mean,
I know it's kind of weird because it's like you always don't want to in the moment you don't want to be like, oh, I want to. I don't want to make it.
You got to remember
lesser than we're thinking, but
it's like no map is a pure experience. It's a product of the people working on it, the mood and the things that were going on at the time, right? So it's like this kind of time capsule, right? So people look at games or levels and go, oh, this is the best map, or this is the best game or level and so forth. It's a moment of time of a bunch of creative people working, and sometimes the restrictions or where they're at or what's happening is captured. I've talked about this idea that I truly believe that, if you cook with love, the food tastes better, right?
Right.
Well, in the same way, that passion gets captured in these moments. Not just in the creation of the individual items, but what you can and can't do, and then the ingenuity and creativity to overcome those problems. That's what these maps then become. That's when you talk about the spirit or the soul of a map or a campaign, it's capturing those drives. When I look at this map, what I see is the faces of all the people who did it, and I know that when they touched that, they came up with that. That's how that worked, right? I remember the conversations, and what makes me very happy is the vibe that's created is the personality of the people who worked on it and kind of created. And so that's why even maps that the community might say, oh, this is not so much of our favorite. I look at it and go, it's special to me because it looks a certain way when I look at it. But so at the end of each map, you always go, I could have done that different. Like, yeah, but you almost don't want to because it's a special moment in time, right?
Yeah, it's like there's beauty in the constraint of it.
Absolutely,
right?
100%.
And you've told me this before. It's like the hardest thing is almost putting the pencils down.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because you have to have that moment at some point, right, where you go, okay, no, it's done, it's locked.
Yeah, I used to have to send the team home, right? So you do a big several hundred man team. As you're coming into land, you start sending them home. It's very strange for kind of business people because they say, what do you mean? We're paying them to have them sit at home, because them actually being in the studio is now damaging now. Because as you get to the end, they want to put more and more and more and more and touch more and more.
Right.
At the same time, you're trying to bring your bugs down and come into landing, and you got to be like, you cannot touch a keyboard anymore. You've got to go away. And that, by the way, they are some of the most talented people in your team.
Yes.
You have to send away first in a weird way, because they're just like, oh my God, I can see it, and we just need this and just this. Let me just do this one check-in. I just want to do this one more check-in.
Right.
And it's like, okay, you need to go home.
It's like, go home, but lovingly so.
Lovingly so, yeah, lovingly so. But, and again, as a game comes to the end, you suddenly are seeing it, right? You're exhausted because it's so tiring, it takes so much of you, but you're exhausted, and then that's why guys want to then do more. Because suddenly it's exciting. You remember, they'd had multiple years of working on it where it looked like grey boxes, and it looked like crap.
Right.
And just as it's coming to the end, it
starts
to look like a game, and you're like, oh my God, right? That's when, and then it's like, and you need to go home. Like, what? It's now looking good. It's like, yeah, you need to stop now.
I feel like a lot of my my game dev career has been seeing gray blocks.
Good. Here's the thing: get used to it, because the majority of development looks like that. Right?
It's crazy, chat. It's crazy.
Then they talk about the specific map that's showcased on the map, and basically tells you where the mystery box is actually located. And usually you can it just tells you the map, the layout, where power is, and where certain things are. The mystery box can be located with the blue beam in the sky, but the power switch can be very confusing to find, other than the writing on the wall that kind of leads you to that direction. And specifically, this kind of map and each zombie map actually tells you the layout of the map before you actually play it, which is really cool. And then you can kind of use that to, use it as a compass to know where certain things are in the map. I think it's pretty cool how they implemented that into the kind of gameplay style of on these maps.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to let me. I do want to ask you this.
We're gonna do the
because
catwalk.
We should, but I'll get to that in a bit. I want to do something first before I put myself in the prime position.
Maps on the wall as well that you'll see later in Mob of the Dead, right? Let's put a map on the wall. Let's highlight the location.
Does that happen in Riese? No, it is, right?
Go back in.
Was it?
Go back in.
I can't remember. It's been so long.
Yeah, back in your teleport room.
Oh yeah. I always love when you guys did that.
Now, and I'll say where the inspiration for this is, right? Which was an English TV show called The Crystal Maze, which I loved as a kid, and I used to watch. And the idea was that these contestants would run in and go, "I don't know what to do." And like poor Richard O'Brien would have to, who did the Rocky Horror Picture Show. He'd be stood outside going, "Oh God, these people." Right. And so the idea is and they'd walk in and go, "Okay, I can see a map on the wall." And like that was the idea.
Oh my gosh. I think y'all did it for I know you did it for Mob. I know that you guys did it for I mean it's in a lot of them.
You did it in a couple, yeah.
I think I always thought it was a very good sign that the layout was pretty cool, because if you're showing it off, that means you're kind of proud of it a little bit. You know what I mean? I want to ask you,
because we were worried if it was going to be too complicated. Like, we were genuinely worried by it.
I love that. I love that so much. So when it comes to like the beginning, right?
Then the next part of the video is the design. Did they make this map for people to go a certain direction? Does the map layout tell you to go left or go right? What is the philosophy of how to actually play the map? Does the map force you to play how you want to play, or make those decisions of where to go? Should you go left or should you go right? And going either direction leads to the middle where the power switch is, depending on which way you go. And this kind of makes the player decide which way they want to go. They go left or go right, either way. And each map has a different design how they want to go. And this kind of leads on to the next segment.
Did you expect 50% of people to go that way and 50%? Like, was that your goal? Was we want to balance the map left to right the best that we can? Or did you guys because I'm gonna be honest, again, I'm sorry.
Yep.
But I do go this way. But
Yep.
but that's me.
Yes.
Someone might be different than me, right?
Yeah.
But I'm curious from like the design standpoint of Riese, especially
So-
like back in the day. It's like were you guys trying like you'd watch like play test or whatever, and you're like, okay, actually they're going this way too much, and we want it to be like half and half.
No, we weren't. So later on, analytics and this stuff became very important, right? Really kind of looking at play tests and really kind of talking about it. But in these stages, because we were going so fast we weren't very data driven, we were just doing our best, right?
Right.
What we kind of thought. It's interesting because this geo, when you're looking at it, we had to put walls up. You can look at the original geo. There's a conversation like, where do you put the door? So if you stand at the top,
Yeah.
this door is further back and this door is further forward, right?
Right.
And the thing that you're looking at won't open. So if you stand on the Pack-a-Punch and you look straight forward, you look at something that looks like it might be like, oh, maybe I can go that way, right? You can't.
So, like that.
Yeah, you can't go that way.
Right.
Right. But then the door to the left is at the back and this one's at the front. And so what you're doing is this thing. I'm going to do an optical thing. If I had like, I'm going to put a $10 bill in my hand, and I did this and said, which one do you want? $10 in one of the hands.
You naturally want to. Well, I don't know. Now I think it's a trick.
Exactly.
Wait. So
you've got a door that's forwards and a door that's back.
Right.
Right, and then if you're consciously thinking about it, you're like, just a minute, one door is more prominent than the other door. Some people will go with the prominent door, and the others will say, you're trying to make me second guess and go with the recessed door. But it's not equal, because if you wanted to say equal, then it's basically 50-50, pick a door.
Right.
But the fact that you do that,
it makes it more interesting.
it's like, what are you trying to do? You trying to bluff me? You trying to double bluff me? It's a bit of Princess Bride, right?
Yeah, and weirdly, it makes you think of the choice more.
And you're making an asymmetry, which is more visually interesting.
Right.
And when you turn back the opposite way, that door becomes prominent and that becomes recessive. So if you run towards the place where you can't go, you've just swapped it round. So if you stand up at Pack-a-Punch that way, and if you stand with the back to the fence, it's the opposite way.
What?
Right? Because that door is now behind you, and that door to the right becomes more prominent. If you stood where you run straight forwards,
Right.
you didn't know what you were doing.
Yeah, because when you stand here,
Then it's that way.
Yeah.
Because this thing becomes less important.
yeah, because this is the most
it's
easy
async,
accessible
yeah.
thing. Because you have to run this way and do
And at the beginning,
you have to do a weird turn to even get on that
well,
one.
at the beginning we're like, okay, that's why there's two windows on those two sides there.
Right.
Because when you run to the back and then turn around, you're made acutely aware that there's two entrances that you're now facing, right?
Yeah.
But we're actually hiding the one down the stairs, so you can't see, so you're not safe, right? So you can see
Right.
the two there, but you know there's one that could just come around the corner at you.
Right.
which is why standing at the fence is not a good place to be.
Wow. I'm just again, this is why I wanted to ask, because like this spawn room is so iconic to me, and I'm trying to understand why. I'm trying to understand like what it was that made me love this so much.
It's the asymmetry of it.
Yeah.
And the fact that at each point it's pulling your eye a certain way.
Right.
Either using the sparking of the generators that pulls your eye that way.
Yeah.
Right. Or firelight.
With the windows in the back.
We're putting the light underneath the stairs was important there.
Why was that important?
Because otherwise it was too dark there, and you
don't even see the you might lose the staircase.
That's why we put the light underneath the stairs there, right?
Is this not crazy? This is just Riese. We're not even talking about mob or anything.
Well, that'll take a little bit longer.
Yeah, good.
I don't know. Is this too nerdy? I don't know if these guys.
No.
Is this what they want?
This is. I wonder if my stream looks like it's kind of lagging a little. Is it fine, chat? Let me know. If as long as it's good to watch, decent enough, right? But it's fine. Everything's good. So make sure. Okay. Because World at War is it's an older game now, and so it's kind of hard to stream. There's like some like screen tearing and things like that with the modern capture cards and things like that.
The Pack-a-Punch camo, that was a thing as well.
Dude, it was, oh my God. I can't even tell you the amount of theories we had about that.
Yeah.
Oh my freaking God.
And it's high detail, so you get a little bit of aliasing on it, which is why you get little sparkles every so often.
Yeah, it looks almost like it's crystal, but it's not. You know what I mean?
Because it was just such high detail texture in terms of normal map, right?
Then we recall back to what we were talking about earlier, how the catwalk was the main priority of how people kind of play the games there in camp, and people find their own strategies. And this is where JC Backfire tells Jason Blundell how he actually found a specific spot how to play the game. Well, not play the game, but get the high routes.
Here's the spot, by the way. So we would keep this door closed. We would have one guy, this poor guy, would be like, all right, sorry man, you're the window. You're not gonna have as much fun as we are in the front. Yeah. But you're gonna be here, and we have the rest of the team basically like just this was like our own catwalk. And what's funny is we did this thing where, and this is how you know Riese was just peak, right? We did this thing where like the catwalk was the strat that a lot of people knew about the catwalk strat. Yep. We wanted to be different because, as we all know, our favorite thing to do, chat, is be contrarians and act like we hate the thing that everyone loves. So my friends would be like, no, the catwalk, no, like let me show you this. We're not doing the catwalk today. We are gonna be contrarians, and what we're gonna do is we're high back here. We have this window thing. Like, you watch that, it's all fine. But the good thing, I will say, if you do this, you have escape routes. The catwalk you really don't as much, because you have to push out. Yep. To get out and drop back down. But the good thing about this spot is, like, if you do get overrun, then it's like, all right, is it time? And then you have your one buddy, it's like, I'm gonna do it. And you're like, oh God.
So there was a conversation here about whether we should put barrels there to stop that.
Right here?
Yeah, because if you put like 2 or 3 barrels right there, that completely screws this up.
Yeah, because it gets way harder right here.
Yeah, and we were talking about it. Now, obviously, there's the other thing that kind of goes on through the fence,
right? Which we're going to talk about. You know what I'm setting up already.
So we're like, no, leave that space open, right? But there's a whole conversation about, like I said before, about where barrels go, where they don't go, what objects are funneling you subliminally. Nothing's just put there. It's like, okay, we're putting that to kind of guide the flow.
Okay, so confirm to me.
Yep.
So you let this zone here be a little bit more relaxing because you knew they're going to be looking outside the map for the.
Yes.
And we didn't know that at the time. So when you first go to this area, you don't even think about that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I'm hoping you guys aren't thinking like I am, right? I hope not. Otherwise, I feel sorry for you. But you also want later on them to go, oh. And again, no, you don't want people to think about it in that way. Again, the reason why I won't talk in these kind of ways back in the day is that kind of looking behind the curtain a little bit.
Yeah.
Obviously enough time's passed, but that's how we're thinking when we're
now design of making crawlers and zombies. This one can be used in different ways for finding Easter egg steps or make the round last longer and make the zombie, slower down. This is a kind of a gameplay design that people kind of do to, if there's a sprinter, you can't really, explore the map. If you throw a grenade or use like a ray gun and make a crawler, this makes it easier to actually explore the map and actually go for Easter eggs and do the main quest. And this is how the next segment goes into.
That's right.
I have a question that I have to bring up.
Yeah.
So you see this right here. What are we looking at, Jason? It's a crawler, right? Why did you guys not like crawlers? And why did you fight us on this?
Uh-huh.
And I'm sorry, but I just had that moment where I was like, wait, I can make a crawler in World at War. Wow.
I mean, I could tell you, so I don't know what the modern zombies are doing, so I kind of don't want to say anything in case they've done more of it, less of it, and I don't want to throw shade.
Just from your perspective, if you don't mind.
Well, from my perspective at the time, it was the conversation happening about, okay, they're going to have people who have to maintain crawlers, and so somebody's not going to have fun for the other people to then go and do things.
That is true.
And so the conversation was, okay, how do we keep all 4 people having fun and not just have one person who has to do the kind of dirty work while the other 3 people are desperately kind of scanning?
Okay.
That was the conversation. I would say that in my time, we didn't properly get to the end of it.
Right.
We knew that this was something we didn't particularly want, which was why one person having to have a sucky experience for the other 3 people to have fun, right? But that was some of the debate on it.
Okay. That
it was from a good place. It wasn't.
I know,
It was. It's not coming from a. Damn these guys! They've gamed the system. It was like we've put a system in place that means that one person has to have a poor experience. Is there a way for us to address that?
Yeah,
that was the motivation of the conversation.
I think that makes sense. The thing that's so interesting is just, I mean, I can't remember how exactly it worked in World at War. Like, I can't remember if they died. I think they probably died after a while, if I remember correctly. Like, it was like a long time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah,
it was.
Yeah. I will say one of my favorite ones that ever happened was Unburied. I love that Arthur can like pick up the crawler with like candy and things like that. That is.
There you go. He gave up. Oh, he'd had enough.
We didn't have Arthur here, damn it. You mean Leroy? His name was Arthur. Am I going crazy? Guys, we're not doing Mandela effect. I know we all said Leroy, but wasn't it Arthur eventually? Huh? Guys, you can't be doing this to me.
I can't unfortunately talk about this because I'd be confirming something. I'll leave alone. I know what you mean, so yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, let's open this door finally.
Now we get into the interesting things. The Easter egg on Riese, which is apparently different from the giant from Black Ops 3, but we have the fly trap Easter egg, which you shoot a little panel with a pack-a-punch and you see like a bunch of power-ups. I think it's power-ups, but it's a bunch of objects rotating around, and you gotta find like these teddy bears in certain locations. Then you find the monkey bomb inside of the furnace. They're going to explain why they did this Easter egg and why they added it to the game and why it's so necessary, why it's there. And I feel like this is one of these Easter eggs where you have to do it if you're playing this map. Just, it's just side Easter eggs in different maps that you have to do. It's like kind of required to play the map because it's just how the map is created. And the side Easter eggs and the main quest just make it so much unique to itself to actually play these maps because it just makes it feel more special when you actually do those Easter eggs.
Man, I gotta talk to you. It's about time, Jason. I have to talk to you about the instead of the elephant in the room, the fly in the room.
Yep.
Riese, it's like a trailer shot moment. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Riese did this thing
Yep.
that I think has, I'm curious of your perspective on it, of the fly trap Easter egg. All right, let me do a little portal really fast. Look at that. Oh yeah. Oh man, it's so good. It's so gamey. I love it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get pack-a-punch really fast with the trench gun because why not? This trench gun is so good. But I need to ask about the fly trap because I think for a lot of us, to me anyway, the thing that like really grabbed its hooks into me with zombies early on. Later I loved it in different ways. To be honest, like I grew to love zombies in different ways, and I played the game differently in different games. Like I played zombies very different in Black Ops 3 than I played in the old days, but I spent so much time thinking about the real world conspiracies of what that, like it felt, like they say, like it felt real to me. Like it felt so real to me that you guys were like rooting so much of the curiosity into things that like are, inspired about in real life, and you were rewarding that curiosity of like, what even is this, right? So the whole again, it's been a while. It's Die Glock, right? I'm probably butchering the pronunciation of it. Yes. But can you just explain like where, like what was the idea of putting the fly trap Easter egg in here?
Yep.
And also, I know it's a loaded question. I'm sorry. What's that guy doing? What also was like? Did you know that this was the beginnings and of like, use this word all the time nowadays, main quest, right? If you said what's the main quest of Riese, I would say, well, it is the fly trap Easter egg. I mean, it's small,
sure,
but this was kind of the beginnings of that feeling of like there's there's a quest.
Yes.
And there were always side quests and things like that, but like this was the beginning of that feeling in my mind. I know Ascension really blew it out of the water later, you know, with like it talked like the full like multi-step, you know, we're going crazy here. But where did that come from? If you can speak on that, like obviously speak on whatever you can, but it's something that is so near and dear to me. And I would always show my friends every time in this corner. When we were doing that camping strategy, I'd be like, by the way, shoot that thing. And they're like, what? Shoot what? Like, yeah, shoot that thing out there. Can I shoot with a trench gun? Well, maybe not. Maybe not. There's probably some fall off
Good
on
luck
that.
with that.
Yeah, let me go get some more ammo for this thing. But yeah.
So there's a bunch of things that kind of factor into that one. So you obviously know that I love my mythology, I love my storytelling, right? I love my conspiracy theories, I love my aliens, right? All these kind of, you know, all these fun things. And being a campaign guy originally, that's if you're given a map, and hopefully you see this in things like Black Ops 1 and Harvard 2 and so forth. But But I would just go crazy on the history. You know, if we're going to do the Bay of Pigs invasion, I'm going to research everything about the Bay of Pigs. I'm going to go into all the conspiracy theories. So I'm given this with, you know,
here we go.
Yeah, these zombie thing. You know, the thought that was kind of going on at the time, and obviously done all the research, and this had been already started with a lot of the kind of dark arts kind of stuff that I'd seen before.
Right.
And I was like, well, okay. And I didn't know when I was going to come back and do something else again in the future, right? So there was a little bit of a set a promise up into the future kind of concept, right? Because I was just coming in to do one map and then I'd go away. I didn't know what was going to happen. But I felt like the core of it, as I saw it, was the possibility, right? Like I said, right? Everything was about possibility. Everything was about that kind of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
There could be more.
It could be more. And I thought that the idea of the something which feels like it you have to find doesn't give you the answer is a promise into the future.
Yeah.
And so that was the kind of thoughts behind it. Without going into all the crazy conspiracy and history stuff I read, which I absolutely loved.
Right.
But that was then the touch, I thought.
It's so amazing because, like, again, like it I think in chat you can you know agree or disagree or whatever. But I personally, again, growing up playing this, to be honest, I probably shouldn't play in this game when I was. That's okay. Thank you, Dad Fire. Appreciate you. But I would say that, like, for me, again, that possibility that you're talking about is everything. Because I would shoot this thing, right? And I would think about what is this object out here that what even is this thing, first of all, and there's plenty of things you can research about that which gets you excited.
Yep.
And I remember, like, you know, hunting for the toys and all that kind of stuff. And we were always like, is there more? Were we supposed to shoot this last? Were we supposed to shoot this first? What was, like, is there like something else we can do? And then when you tack on the radios to the map and things like that, it started painting this picture of, like, oh, we're messing with forces that we're messing with forces that, like, it almost felt like, you know, because you're coming into a place after an apocalypse happened, right? You're coming in and the fact that there's, like, this, it's so magically different, like that, like everything on this map is so I want to use the word, like, gritty. Like, obviously you have, like, your Coca-Colas and things like that, right? And you have things that are fantastical as you do, but there's something really eerie about seeing these glowy green, like, you know, it gives you, like, a vibe of, like, almost like supernatural alien type stuff, right? Flying through the map, and you're like, okay, I'm going crazy. Is this real? Is that a bug? You know, we always joked around, like, the visual glitch, right? We're like, is that a visual glitch or is that real? But, like, obviously something's happening because of the dialogue. But I guess I'm coming from, like, the feeling I had was this feeling of so much wonder, because I was like, if that can happen in this mode, I mean, a couple maps ago, I was playing in just a bunker. What could happen next time, right?
Yep.
And
have you ever heard that phrase? Have you ever heard when this used to be said to me when I was a kid? You know, some film would come out and you know, a parent would say, "Well, the book's better than the film," you know, and you'd say, "Well, you know, why is that?" And it's like, well, because your imagination can paint the picture far better than any kind of, you know, particular rendering of it.
That's good.
And so the concept, you know, as a high, you know, again, if I'm going to get a bit pompous about it, the high concept, which was, can you make a game where the concept of it is bigger than the game, that the imagination of it is more important than the actual gameplay? Can you make the book experience? Because a book tells you a story, but your imagination does a lot of the work, right?
Right.
So it's, can you make a game that does the same thing, where your imagination does a lot of the work while the game is kind of taking you on a journey, right?
Stop! You're making me so. Oh. It's crazy when you hear Jason like describe like, oh, that was the intention. You're like, well, that's exactly what I had. That is exactly how I felt. You guys absolutely succeeded in every world, and that's why I said this earlier. I think I got distracted saying it, but
Fantastic team we did this.
You guys killed it. And me and Liam have talked about this ad nauseum, is that we truly think this is, in terms of like atmosphere, like a world and level, I think it's in my opinion, it's one of the greatest video game environments I've ever been in. I'm not even joking. And it's small. It's small, but it has so much depth. It has you thinking. It has you wondering. When we started finding the radios, that was crazy. There was just so much. It had this like replay value to it that it just hooked me for years and years and years of my life. Even later, later when Black Ops 1 hit and we had more maps, we would still go back and load up to Riese. I'm just saying, it was so fantastic to us. And again, shout out to the team at Treyarch that did that, because.
And by the way, that was just fear driven. We were all just like, please let us not mess this up, right?
Yeah.
Because we really we were aware there was there was a passionate community.
Yeah.
And we were like, we don't know what we're doing. So that was everybody had that anxiety. Guys who would be known as staples in the zombie map creation. We were on this. We were all like, okay, we're doing this for the first time.
Right. Well, here's the question: do we remember where the toys are? Because they're different in the giant. So my brain is thinking about the giant ones.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's been a while. Let's see if these dogs stop. Thank you. I swear there was one in here, dude. There's one in here, isn't there, chat? Am I losing my mind?
I sometimes have to be careful because I don't want to accidentally say something that's like, we didn't know that. So I gotta be careful what I say.
That's the giant one. No! Fire escape, third teleporter room, and cage near trench gun. Oh, I do remember the cage. Let me go that way. Let me also grab speed cola while I'm at it. Did you guys do the oh my gosh, you guys are going crazy with the subs. Thank you. Again, I have alerts off for this stream chat, but I appreciate so much of what you're doing. We want to keep the content focused on, because this is the commentary on Riese. This is it, and I think I'm trying to keep us on subject, I guess.
That was my favorite room.
The boiler room?
Yeah, furnace room. Yeah.
Or the furnace room.
Yeah.
Why? How come?
I just really like. I mean, there's obviously a couple of steps that you have to do in there as well, but I just like the how it's a room inside a room and the flow of it.
Oh yeah.
It's just, I don't know.
I just like you're tempting people to peer into that too, which is,
well, it's an uncomfortable space.
It's so uncomfortable.
That's why I like it.
Yeah. You like that the monkey is in there. I know that you do. I can just imagine you laughing, being like, yeah, the monkey bomb's just chilling in there.
Yeah.
A lot of people are asking, because I remember back in the day, and I think we'll definitely do some more Q&A here in a bit, but I'm just seeing it come up in chat a lot. Look how many dang zombies are.
Right, so as he's looking for this Easter egg, the chat kind of helps him. They talk about this kind of ammo-matic kind of perk, which I've actually seen this perk in a few maps. You'll probably see it in future videos and like custom zombie maps of Black Ops 3, which is kind of funny. So apparently this was in the works before Jason Blundell was actually in there. I think he was working on a campaign at the time, or this could have been way before. Ammo-matic was a perk machine where you can actually refill your ammunition, and which is kind of funny because this is actually kind of in Modern Zombies, which it's not really a perk machine, but it's like a box where you can refill your ammunition, and it's been a thing in Modern Zombies since Cold War Zombies. So the fact is, this actually has been kind of a thing back in the day, but never implemented, is kind of funny.
I remember at the time there was lots of rumors of the Ammo-matic.
Okay.
I remember people around the time of Riese coming out, there was going to be some machine that would that was like the ammo machine.
Okay.
Was that a thing?
An ammo machine.
Yeah, it was called. I remember it being called Ammo-matic. Like, I don't know why we knew about that.
I mean, I will say from my perspective, I was not aware of anything.
Interesting. Okay.
That's not to say that somebody somewhere didn't have an idea, but
yeah, maybe it was something.
I'm not aware of that, or I don't remember it. One of the two.
And a lot of like modern maps now, like in a way that idea has happened because they have like ammo crates and things like that.
Sure.
So it's one of those things where like maybe that persisted through time with that. But interesting. Yeah, Yeah, because I remember, I think there was a time where we were like searching for it.
Okay.
I don't know why my brain remembers that, but I feel like at one point I was like, is there a secret machine somewhere?
I mean, ammo.
And then you guys did a secret machine on the Giant.
Yeah.
Wait a second.
Well, so ammo was the reason why I think that if it was a thing, it would have died very quickly.
Yeah.
In my perspective, because ammo was, especially in these early maps, was really important. Like in terms of how much ammo you had, how we drove you from one weapon to the next weapon.
Right.
The magic box. We were very, very sensitive about that. So I can't imagine, even if that was an idea, it wouldn't. I don't think it would have lasted very long because I would have been very sensitive to the idea of
Sure.
too much ammo, because we were all about, again, we were obsessing about the position of where the boards are, the windows are. We were obsessing about the weapon.
Right.
As the maps become more complex or more involved, you can kind of ease off a little bit on.
Yeah, totally.
But at the beginning, we were just obsessed. It was like, it's about the window. It's about the windows. It's about the box. Right. And then it's like, and then how do we make the flow good? Teleporters. Okay. How do we give you purpose? Okay. Pack a punch. It was like trying to answer all these questions. So something like the idea of a continuous ammo machine or something I'd have been like, are you kidding me? Because I'd be like, we just balanced all this in and we're all, so if it was an idea, I would have either killed it or
Interesting.
Wouldn't have heard about it in the first place.
Yeah, because a lot of people, I saw a lot of people asking about that.
I could be wrong. If I find out one of the scripters snuck it in there.
Oh my God.
I don't believe so. Yeah, there you go.
I kind of have to, right?
You kind of have to.
Wow. I totally
That's
forgot
what World
about
at War
this.
was known for.
Wow. Look at how slow I move. Oh.
So that, I'll tell you a story about that. The teddy bear. So when we did this, so I say that the weapons guy made me the piece of wood with the Bowie knife, which is behind you, with the little brass plaque on it. And then the other thing is he went out and bought the teddy bear and he brought it in. He said, okay, we got the teddy bear. And I actually took, I'll tell you this bit. So I said, that's not the teddy bear. You're going to have to like F it up and so what he did is he took it down to Marina Del Rey, He took it down to Marina Del Rey and threw it in the ocean.
Oh my God.
And buried it in the ocean and kind of messed around with it. And then brought it back in the next day and it was all crusty and all messed up. And I was like, there we go. Now we got the teddy bear. Right?
Oh, it probably smelled so bad.
It was
too.
terrible. So I now have this toxic Bowie knife that's stinking out half the office and this stinky kind of teddy bear that's all ratty with stains on it. And we took that teddy bear to Alcatraz when we went and did Mob of the Dead, and we put it there and took photos of it. So the actual teddy bear stayed with us from Riese all the way through to the Origins. I think it's probably still at Treyarch, I think, somewhere.
Wow.
But there's actually official teddy bear, and there's actually an official Bowie knife object.
That's probably got to be worth in a weird way. Don't know if I want. Actually, I would love to own that, but that's like a legendary artifact at this point. If it's been through that much.
It sure has. Yeah.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Yeah. So there's the teddy bear.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of, because I had a bunch of questions and I feel like we nailed so many of the questions so quickly. I'm trying to think of of one that I had from this
it's
is getting
on.
crazy.
Yep.
I might have to open this. I'm doing it. I'm opening this. I'm like, for some reason I'm untrustworthy of the flamethrower. I saw like
For that very reason, I think.
there was a video. Yeah, there was a video that someone made recently where they said that like we knew we didn't understand the math of the flamethrower until like this past year, like how it works. Does anyone know what I'm talking about, chat? Like someone made a video. Please remind me who it was. I saw it recently. And it was like the way the flamethrower works. We always thought that it was someone would have to describe what it did. It's like the way that it's scripted is just so strange to what we thought it did. Someone in the chat will have to remind me. It burns them. Well, yeah. I mean, obviously it burns them. Explain. Wait, what do you mean?
This flamethrower. Yeah.
Yeah. Someone again, if you haven't seen it, look it up because it's like a recent video. It's warm. It's damage over time. Oh, that's what it was. Okay, I'm remembering now. Because when you're playing this, you assume that the more you hold it down, the better, like you're gonna do more, right? Like you're gonna do more damage. It actually is better to tap it like once and let them just burn. I think that's what it was. And I was like, wait, what? Like it's actually better just to go, and it classifies the zombies as like burning or something.
Yeah, it's like a thermostat. Turning it colder doesn't make it colder faster.
Right. And so interesting. You get more points though. I guess, yeah, you do get more points if you. That's true. But it was just one of those things because you assume you want to go like guns blazing, right, with it, but it's actually better to to just like.
And again,
do a little.
I was not really involved in that kind of chat. That's the designers
Yeah,
being
yeah.
hardcore about it. But,
Yeah. They're saying BO1 terminal DUBBY password.
you have to wait for the Black Ops 1 breakdown as well.
Okay. Pack punch.
I gotta keep some secrets. Come on.
Dude, that's true. That's true. Well, the one you said at the start of the stream was crazy. So
Well, I have to close the door on that sooner or later.
yeah. Close the door. Right. I'm so going to. Oh, look at that though. Oh. So cool. I think I know I have not gone for the toys at all, and chat's gonna kill me that I haven't done it. But I need to do that.
They're not the boss of you.
You say that, Jason, but they'll.
That's my job.
Wait, that's true. We hope. We hope. No, it's happening. Hopefully. Let's do. Okay, I got one teddy bear.
Some of those comments.
What were they saying? What are they saying?
We pay your bills.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
It is true.
And that's why I'll be setting up my YouTube channel. No.
That would be if you did that. I'd be wondering what's going on.
Yeah. We're not on that timeline, I'll tell you.
Yeah. I guess never say never though, right? You can't. You
I
can't.
think I've used that phrase before, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
What's your favorite gun in this map? Let's just give you like a casual question as I'm trying to get through this round.
Again, I'm going to say because it was so fun and I had such a heated debate about it, I'm going to say it's the Pack-a-Punch pistol is my favorite because it was so against everything we were talking about.
It's like it's disruptive to what you think would happen, right? And that's what makes it interesting.
Again, you guys are all far better. The rumors are true. You guys are all far better players than I am.
Right.
Right. But I enjoyed the things that kind of subvert expectations.
Yeah.
Not just for the hell of it, but like that it's reaching something greater.
Yeah.
Right. You can always just do random stuff.
Right.
But you want to do it so that it takes you to the next place. Right. Why do you do the teleport? Because it takes you to the Pack-a-Punch. What's the Pack-a-Punch doing? It's setting you up. Like you want ideas to kind of roll forwards.
Right.
Why? Because then you're setting up the idea of people connecting things.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because this is connected to that. That's connected to that. So that must be connected to something else.
I should probably buy the Bowie knife too. We should.
Oh, yeah.
We should.
And then you get a celebration. You get the first lift, right?
Uh-huh.
It was all about this. We had these big conversations about that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Look at that.
That was it. It was
So good.
There was
So
meetings. There were so many meetings about that. 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
The trailer shot as well.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I haven't gotten the Wonder Off as well. I do need to get that as well. That's gonna be one of my goals. Chat. I'm trying to get the things that that encapsulate the Riese experience the most that I can. Obviously, I'm not gonna be able to do everything, but needs to be good. Wonder Off? Someone said what was the idea behind creating the Wonder Off? Wonder Off, I think, was Shionuma though, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So Wonder Off already happened.
Yes. I didn't have the budget for that kind of. The best I could do is a monkey bomb. I couldn't get enough time for a weapon.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Wonderwolf already happened, and then we had I guess Bowie knife was kind of like the main new weapon.
Bowie was it was either I could go for one weapon or I could get a Bowie knife and a monkey bomb. So that's what I went for. I was like, okay, I could have one new weapon or two things.
Well, I mean, the Wonderwolf's so cool that it was
it
was sick to see it return again.
That was my producer hat on, which was
right.
Okay, we could get two new things out of this rather than one weapon.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh, here's a good question. Ooh, I should go look at this too. This is I wasn't meaning to do the Q&A quite yet, but I'm seeing things in chat that are sparking some things. So I appreciate you guys. Over here, as this hellhound is chasing me.
By the way, I'm not going to answer all the mysteries that are still in.
Yeah,
I know.
Okay. Nor do I. Me personally, I mean, chat might disagree.
That's why I've got to be careful when you say, "Oh, where's all the stuff?" I've got to be careful.
Yeah.
I don't know what you guys know, so
yeah. But I mean, one of the coolest things that I would say. I mean, stuff did come out of this. Let me wait for the last one to. God, the sound effects on this game, like the.
By the way, those dogs are a pain in the bum for pathfinding.
Oh, I imagine.
The amount of testing to get the dogs to pathfind correctly. Oh.
Yeah. So there it is. It's oh my gosh, it's so hard to. Is that them? It is this. It's just hard for me to see. I probably need like a sniper to look at it better. But these boards, oh my god, the fact that they like actually like again, and this is something that I think is really important. In my opinion, just as a designer, is like reward curiosity, respect people's time, validate their time and effort they spent thinking about things. You know what I mean? Like obviously, like not with everything.
I need to be more obsessed than our most obsessed fan.
Right.
So the challenge I used to always think was I need to be more dedicated than a person who plays this continuously and obsesses on it.
Right.
I have to be more than that. Otherwise, that person will get disappointed. Because
Yep.
if that person can feel the roof, then all that passion is lost. So my job is to have more of that than the most hardcore person can find.
And so,
Yes.
on this map, you guys are just like, here's some photos of some other potential places that a zombie outbreak could happen. And most of them did happen.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
It's funny how that works.
It's funny.
Yeah.
And that's one of my favorite things about Riese is like, again, it just sets up so much.
A kind of similar thing happened then on the Giant, right?
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah.
Because it calls the DLCs all the locations, right? Which was a callback to the fact that this one had the locations of everything that was going to go forwards as well.
You're talking about the coordinates on the paper, right?
So actually, the Giant tells you the season for both World at War forwards, and then also from then
Or you saying
Black Ops 3.
Yeah, Riese tells you this the season far the season far ahead, and the Giant also does the same thing.
Yep.
I didn't think about the fact that they both do it, but yeah, that's so true, and it does it in a different way too.
Yep.
Oh, that's so cool. Someone said it's like poetry, it rhymes, as they say. Well, I mean, that's a good question too, right? Like, obviously, we've seen this map evolve over the years. There's been many like iterations of it.
Sure.
And I really do think that the spirit of this map is embedded in a lot of the things that happen later. Still to this day, I think that. Oh God. Well, I'm not.
Well, it's a good job you're not cheating.
Yeah, good. Jason, this was not supposed to happen. That was supposed to be.
Ow.
It was supposed to be. I was supposed to. Oh, look!
Oh!
Oh!
It's just in the last second.
Wow!
Wow.
Wow! Jug was so good back then.
Before Jason ruined it.
You know what's funny? I had that thought in my brain. I was like, wow, Jug was so good. Like, you should remove that. And I was like, I shouldn't say that. That's a little mean. Oh, man. That's so...
Come at me, bro.
I assume I know the answer on why you tried. Or
We're not
you guys
doing that
tried
in
it.
this stream.
Yeah, not this one.
No, we'll do another one on that one.
That's like a BO4 stream.
It sure is, yeah.
Yeah, you gotta say that with BO4 actually. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. What was I saying before I got so interrupted by all that? I was like in the flow state.
Yeah.
Oh, I was saying, like obviously, like this map has been like embedded, I think spiritually in the if there is a formula, you know,
It always was for me.
right?
Yeah.
What was it like going back to it with the Giant? Because like there's a lot of other maps I would love for you to get your like director's commentary on, and I just I don't know which ones we're gonna be able to tackle. I'm not sure yet.
Sure.
But and we want to keep you guys on your toes a little bit as well. But I feel like the Giant is one that like because we did Riese, I feel like it might be one we skip, right?
Sure. Yep.
And I do want to like talk about it for a second because obviously like adding the snow and
Yep.
all that kind of stuff was like artistically like that change was really really cool.
Yep.
And it felt different. I liked that it was different. I liked that it wasn't just like the same exact thing again.
Well, because it also represented a different point in the story.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
So it wasn't just a remake of the location.
right.
Like this is a different point in the story.
Yeah. So you looked at like kind of like a brand new.
Yeah, well, like Chronicles, it was like that was us trying to be doing a faithful recreation of the maps that kind of came before
Right.
us, and so we were trying to do that. Now we put little things in there, but we weren't trying to recanonize and say, okay, there's something else going on.
Right.
But the Giant to Riese is two different points in time.
Yeah. So you're saying almost like if the Giant was in Chronicles, it wouldn't have been the way that it was.
Yeah, no,
That's interesting.
We would have done Riese rather than
Yeah.
The
It would have
Giant.
been probably more like the BO1.
Yes.
Kinda like,
Yeah, which had been done. So,
yeah. That's fair.
Now, the other thing that's kind of good about it, because again, when we started off, we had like 9-10 months, like I mentioned before, to do it. It felt like that.
For
that time.
For 3.
For 3.
Yeah.
What it allowed me to do is kind of put the team on it to kind of get it going, but also to get the engine, the machine and the atmosphere and the attitude going, right? Because as you say, right, this making this map and talking about the decisions you do to kind of get the tone right puts all the developers into a certain mindset, certain tone, certain vibe. And so that's what was really useful for me as Craig and I are going to go after write kind of story stuff, probably Craig, and I'm working with him.
Right.
But the team can then just start baking themselves in the Giant and get the kind of vibe and get the tone right. So then by the time we come out and go, okay, we got this crazy story we want to tell, they're like, right, bring it on. Because they just kind of got themselves back into the Riese kind of state of mind, if you will.
So it was almost like a rallying like feeling.
Well, it gave them mastery because you're gonna up-res it, right? But you've also then got to be, designers, these, artists. They're passionate. They are influenced by the thing they're working on. So as they're working on this and then realizing it, they're getting themselves set up. And then so when we walked out with the bonkers story and also where we're going to go with the zombies stuff, they've been, in my mind, kind of baked into that core kind of rock and roll, that kind of core anti-authority kind of vibe and mystery with a bit of edge. Got it already now.
I mean, the IGC is like it's got that edge to it for sure. Oh baby,
There you go.
Oh, with the first raise.
Oh, see the attitude. Oh,
Yep, just a little like, hey, you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know, little bop, and then also the you couldn't hear, but the musical cue, right? The Wonder Weapon musical cue.
But it's like something like that. And again, I can take it to a level. These things, like I was really into it. It's like, what's the attitude, right? In a first person shooter, we say the weapon is the character because that's all you see, right? He's on a roll. And so. How is the weapon telling you the attitude of the person? So it's slightly flippant, it's slightly dismissive, it's I know what I'm doing. I'm not panicked, I'm not shaking to do it. But if you imagine the world you're in, you should be. But these characters are kind of larger than life. And so everything they're doing is like, how do we make sure that every action speaks to the attitude?
Can I tell you like a cool thing that happened in games this year that
Sure.
I love? So like there's a game that did like a flip on that with like Resident Evil Requiem, right? Because they had this new protagonist called Grace, right? And that
You're
game.
not going to spoil it for
I'm
me.
not spoiling it.
Okay.
But the game is very much like it's like Leon and Grace, and both of them are in this game, right?
Okay.
And they did this thing where like in the animation work where whenever Grace shoots like the massive revolver, right?
Oh,
like first of all, she's like shaking at all times, and they really play into like the horror aspect, and she's not trained like Leon is.
Yeah.
And like when she shoots it, it's like out of control, like oh my god, like
that's awesome.
Like like the kickback was crazy, and then when Leon does it, it's like.
Yeah,
And you're like,
so here's the thing.
Damn, that
and
feels
that,
good.
From a design point of view, and
Yeah.
again, I'm sure they executed it fantastically.
Yeah.
That's a very delicate line to walk between achieving the emotion and doing the storytelling and not pissing you off as a game player.
Right.
It's very delicate.
But it's so good because I think in that game, like you kind of accept the fact when you're playing as Grace, you know that you're playing as someone inexperienced, so you kind of like.
Well, and again, I'm sure they've done it incredibly well, right? People can respect that and understand that and still be annoyed by it. So you've got to be very careful when you walk that line because you go, well, the art of it, the storytelling of it, the reality of it, and you're like, yeah, but people have got to play it,
Right.
And they'll kind of do the hat to you and say, oh yeah, I like what you're doing there. But after the third hour of firing in the wrong direction, they might be like, screw this thing, right? So I'm sure they've done a wonderful job.
They did a really good job with it.
But that's the line as a designer you're walking, which is like, how because that holds water about 2 seconds, and they go, right, okay, I like what you did there, and then they're like, I need to sort this out. She's got to somehow get better than what she is right now,
Right.
I'd assume. So yes, always one of those. When does the story encroaches on the playability? You got to be very.
It's a fine line.
You got to be very careful.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Because we want you to play the game.
Yeah, no, totally. It's definitely. I mean, I'm a big big fan of the first raises, and it always feels good. You're celebrating the fact that you got to something new.
Absolutely.
You're celebrating that you have this really cool thing. Whoa, where did my shot go? Oh, that's crazy. All right, guys.
There's no bugs in this software, I can tell you.
Yeah, there's nothing. It's perfect. It's perfect.
I've checked every line of code. There's not a single bug in this software.
How long have we been live for? We've been live for we've been live for a bit. We've been playing Threes for a bit. I feel like I want to find what's the last 2 teddy bear spots. I should probably do that. That should probably be our mission, right, chat? It's been so long. Tell me, because the giant is different, all right? And also maybe this is a good time, chat, because we talked a lot about the map and experience, and like we talked about level design. I was very curious about like the choices of which path, like A to B, and like the way you were pointing out like the asymmetry of the spawn room is just love that. So that was huge.
It's like I love over here, the left, and then the drop down and the fire, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. This.
Cool. It's so good.
That was what I really liked.
Well, I always remember in the trailer, I think it was Nikolai goes down there. He's like, follow me, and it's like, don't follow him. He's going to a dead end. What are you doing?
Well, that was the beginning of the music videos.
Yeah.
Right. That was just talking about, okay, can we tell a secondary story? That was the beginning of that.
Yep.
And obviously we were playing into the characters, so like Nikolai was throwing up or,
Yeah.
something.
Well, it started with the monkey too, right?
Yeah.
And in that one.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Were there any accidental creations that occurred? That's a good question. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty.
All of them. I mean, like, again, the monkey bomb, it's like started off one thing, then it's okay, we strapped dynamite to it. Oh, it's okay, it's a monkey now.
Yeah.
Okay, now he's got symbol,
Yeah.
A lot of this stuff was, again, the speed that we were going on something like this. Because, again, you're in the middle of a DLC season. And, later on, we'd planned them out. But at this point, it was, Jay, come in. Okay, can you do this? Yeah, sure, okay. So it was just kind of get going fast. So, yeah, a lot of it was... but they were all, just to kind of reiterate, they were all trying to solve problems. So again, Pack-a-Punch was how do we get people playing longer, right?
Right.
Teleporters were how do we stop dead ends being frustrating?
And make it more of a fun mastery thing instead.
Right. Then it was Easter eggs and ciphers and all this stuff was like how do we keep on adding to that feeling of wonder and that there's something hidden behind something. And then how do we get the rock and roll? It's like, okay, how do we make sure that our lines are, and our vibes starting to encourage this, that this game mode might not be approved by Activision was the idea. How do you make it feel like they, are they allowed to do that? Was the thing that we kept on talking about.
That punk rock attitude.
How do we make it so that it's just a feeling that the parents aren't watching? That was the kind of vibe we were trying to capture.
As we're also, by the way, again, not everybody. It wasn't intended for kids. Okay,
It's not intended
what
for
we're
kids.
saying.
It's an 18 rated game.
But me being,
But then-
me being allowed to play it, but my dad letting me play it.
But here's
I
the-
also had that feeling.
But here's the thing.
You know what I mean?
And I've said this before, which is we weren't ever going for horror. What we were going for was what I call aspirational horror.
Very big
And
difference.
aspirational horror is the feeling that you're playing horror when actually you're not.
Right.
So it feels naughty. It feels like you're playing something that should be if it's older. But if you actually look at what we're doing, we're being very tame. But your imagination is far scarier than I could put something on the screen that'd be like tearing blood and tearing you apart.
Right.
Sure, and I could give everyone serious trauma. I think though that the idea of I don't fully understand what's going on here, but the vibe is indicating something bad happened, and how bad may be based on how much I understand. That's scarier than any graphic I could put on the screen.
Totally, 100%. I've always thought that. I think World at War was a scarier feeling in a lot of ways because it was the beginning. And we didn't know what this was going into it. But I've always kind of felt that because I would tell people when they were like, okay, what do you do? I'm a zombies content creator or whatever, or YouTuber. Back then we probably just say I make videos about Call of Duty zombies, and they would kind of look at me like, isn't that super demonic and terrifying? And I'm like, well, yeah, but you can imagine me in school. I was like a goody two shoes. I did not I wasn't even into metal music or anything like that. Granted, I like my Linkin Park, but I've been told that Linkin Park is not a metal band, and that is proof enough of what I'm talking about. But even though crawling in my skin is very, very intense. But I guess what I'm saying is that for me, I never would have thought I would have been into zombies. Because I watched The Walking Dead and I watched stuff like that.
Sure.
And the gore in that stuff was kind of ugh, oh God, ugh. I do think that there's something about this that I love so much where it's yeah, sure, the arms are flying off and things like that. But it's not disgusting me.
No.
It's not making me appalled for some reason at what I'm looking at.
We're not trying to make body horror.
Right.
Or I wasn't, right?
Yeah.
We weren't. I wasn't trying to.
And there's people who really that is 100% World War II zombies was very oh, let's go for it.
Yeah.
And again, they had a lot of Dead Space Legacy and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
So
it's a choice. I'm not not poo-pooing or saying it's any bad choice, but where I was like, well, I think we want to make it as accessible as possible. And again, that kind of promise that what's behind the scenes thing. It's well, I think the horror becomes more scary. I'll make one reference, which was it was World at War, and again, this was before I didn't work on that campaign. I came in to do this one, but at the very beginning, there's you're being tortured. Right, and the guy puts the cigarette out on you at the very beginning. Right, and as part of the thing,
guy that is Takio's model.
Yes, we had to put in things where you can put like age safety in, and if you switch this mode on, that we switch the blood off, we switch off certain violence and so forth, right? Well, the beginning was a real problem because you're like, well, he's putting a cigarette out on you, you're a POW essentially, or you were captured and you're being tortured, right? And we're like, well, what do? We got to, and what they decided to do was take the camera and not look at the guy torturing you and look at the shadow on the wall. It became more disturbing because when you didn't look at the actual action happening, which you think is violent, and you look at the shadow of what's happening, it was more terrifying. And I was like, oh, we don't need to be showing this.
Right.
We just need to keep on inferring that bad things have happened.
You can do that in so many ways.
And then you get back to that idea of the book is scarier than the film because your imagination does the work, right?
Yep.
So that was that kind of spirit of, and that's where, I would say World at War started that. And I think Black Ops was the realization of that first kind of the spirit of it, moved in there. And that started to influence, like, I'd done like COD 3, right? I'm doing COD 3, and that was just a straight up, World War II game. Right. But World at War started to open up the darkness of it, started to talk about the real kind of psychology of it, rather than just, I say it passively, but the Band of Brothers idea, which we were doing, let's say in COD 3, by World at War, you're starting to question war itself. You're starting to question like what it meant to be certain troops in certain situations, right? And then Black Ops is just take that all the way up to the top and say, okay, then that means that, the true truth is not something that you hear about.
Right. It's what lies beneath the surface.
Yep.
I love it. I love it. Let's see. Okay, chat. Really fast. Where are the other toys? Please, chat. I need this. It's embarrassing if I don't know. It's been years. I haven't played this in so long. Furnace. Well, that's the monkey though, right? Window above spawn. Oh, I think. Can I do it with a ray gun? I feel like I might not be able to with a ray gun. It's somewhere. I see him. I see the teddy bear. Hold on. Wow, what a crazy play. There he is. I see him with the Bowie knife. Found another one. Yay. Okay, thank you. And then there's one more. I need this. I do, chat. I do. The problem is if I run out of ammo and get trapped, then I might have to do a little bit of a no-clip situation. Is it just furnace now? We did cage, we did window, near power. We already did cages. You talking about in here, chat? No, this is the giant. Furnace by other. Oh yeah. I know where. Oh my gosh. The fact that this is why I have you guys. Thank you. See, there we go. The fact that by the way, it is pretty cool. The fact that again, there's 2,300 people watching right now. You guys are incredible. Shout out to you again. I love that this map, think about it when this map came out, 2009, right? The fact that chat's like, no, it's here. Like, this is a map that is very, very old, but everyone knows where it is. It's in one of these, right? Oh my God, am I losing it? Guys. That's the giant again? Damn it! No! Jason, you've done this to me. You swapped where the toys were in the furnace. It's in the cage outside the furnace area. Oh, it was by the Thompson. Oh, okay. Fake fan. Sorry. All right. Well, in the meantime, chat, let's go ahead and start. We're gonna be starting to wind down the director's commentary now because we've talked a lot. But obviously, be. Is it just the monkey and that's it? Is that really all we have left? Is that really? That's all we have? I thought there was one more teddy bear. Maybe I'm wrong. Jason's so happy that we got to the monkey. Okay, here we go. Game over. Oh man. Wow. Okay, let's do this. Okay, let's relax for a second. I've done the catwalk. I did my camping spot. I've done all that.
Yep.
What I'm gonna do really fast is I'm gonna do a little bit of this. Sorry, I'm so sorry about this.
All good. This is how I normally see the world.
Yep.
Chat.
Let's turn the audio down a little bit because you're gonna hear a bunch of zombie screams in the background. Questions to chat. What's something like, keep it Doris specific. I know that there's a lot of questions that you guys want to talk about and relate to other things, but like what's something like we have the one opportunity to ask Jason something about Doris, and he's not gonna reveal all the secrets because he won't do that. And by the way, the Doris is so awesome because it feels like there's more. So I don't want to destroy that magic by any means. A lot of people are saying look at the moon. Now what you guys are talking talking about is the dots on the moon. I know what you're talking about. The red dots on the moon. I remember that. I mean, it's also the eclipse is sick. But I always thought the dots on the moon, I'm just to say what I thought. I always thought the dots on the moon eventually became Griffin Station. Right. You're not going to answer that one, are you? Oh my gosh. That's what I always thought. That's what I always thought, though. He kind of gave me that look. Was that a confirmation? I don't know. Is there a login for Riese and Blacklist on Toronto? I don't think you're going to get that one. I don't think you're going to get that one. We said it earlier and Jason did not reply. Let's see. Okay, is there anything? Okay, this is a good question. Is there anything you had to cut from the map to Riese that you're like, oh damn, that would have been really cool to have, and you just ran out of time? I know we're talking about like there's beauty in the constraints of it.
Yes.
But like, what's something that if you remember?
That's a very good question.
The SOS here too. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love that.
I don't think so because it was so time constrained.
Yeah.
And it hadn't really blossomed fully, right? So it was always being made out of the scraps, right? So that mentality that you hear later on about like how do we make more complex maps? We didn't lose the kind of the DNA, which was keep it simple, reuse stuff. Like we talk about mob later on. That's when we went into a dangerous territory. We said we're going to make this from scratch. Yeah. And the worry was that we could then lose ourselves in the kind of the scale of it or the ambition of it. Right? That was a real worry. But this was, I wish I was saying that, oh my God, you wouldn't believe how many design ideas, like we were going at full pelt from the second we started. Right. And it was like, how do we solve this problem? How do we solve this problem? How do we solve this problem? I don't think, I want to just double check. I don't think like it was, again, use every part of the cow, like, and don't waste any time on something that we...
The zombies are going crazy.
Because we had to put all the stuff that we wanted to hide and we wanted to be obsessive about it, that's where the energy went. And it's like we didn't want to do features that might get cut because we didn't have time for it. And we said every minute needs to go into hidden stuff or into doing something that moves the core theme of the level forwards. Like in other maps, you might try an idea and then go, that's not going to work, or we can't finish that. This was we wanted kind of brief and direct on the surface and then depth below it. And I don't think anything didn't make it. I think it all went in pretty much as we wanted it to.
That's awesome. I love that.
I mean, other maps, absolutely, I could go on about that, but this one, like, we didn't even have the luxury to do that.
Oh man.
Like
that Ammomatic didn't make it. We talked about Ammomatic.
Not aware of it.
Yeah, maybe that was on
again,
another map or something.
That was a long time ago. But I don't remember. Because again,
we always thought that though. That's what we thought was always
we were obsessive about bullet usage and weapon usage. And it was like, again, you're thinking from like, from more recent stuff. But back then it was weapons and boards on window, right? The Pack-a-Punch was the center. The Magic Box was the center of the world, and we said, okay, can we make the Pack-a-Punch the center of the world, because then that could then make them last longer. And so we were thinking about ammo. So that's why I say that I don't think there was. Again, happy to be corrected if an old Treyarch dev tells me otherwise. But I think we would have really struggled with that because we were so unsure about the economy and making sure it was right. So. Yeah.
Is there a reason why, I know we talked a little bit about like the geo of the map, right? Like there's bones of stuff from campaign and the Nightfire multiplayer map too, which I also doing stuff from campaign too, I guess. But like, is there a reason why that was like, do you remember if there's a reason why that was selected as like, that's the one to pull from?
No, it was, there was, again, the person knows who it was who went out there and did it, but it was scour the campaign maps and find us an area that we can use. And then there was
just like what works.
Right? There was a couple of them. And then this one was like, okay, it's got the mystery, it's got that kind of industrial vibe, which is what we're looking for. And obviously you can look at the campaign map and see where we pulled it from, like what changes we made.
So the industrial vibe, you maybe want it like that, like I'm doing the chicken or the egg situation. It's like, like you guys knew you're gonna do Riese as it's gonna be a factory, right? It's gonna have that industrial vibe, and then okay, now we need to find how we can pull that off of what we have.
We were open for a bit of variance,
right?
It could have been a different location, but because we did green and we didn't. Previous team had done Shinonuma and water and leaves and so forth. It was like, okay, we need to go more concrete. We need to go more.
And then the radio on Shinonuma teases this too. So like it does say there's a facility of some kind, right? That's cool. Okay, that's a good one because like again, I think it's something we've never really like I think a lot of people have played. By the way, I think a lot of people have played Riese and they don't realize that the geo, there's sets of the geo that are from other things. Let's see. The Pack-a-Punch names. The Pack-a-Punch names were, I would just say as a fan, I love that because it was always just like, it was an extra little thing of like flavor. I imagine that's just the team having fun, right?
There's several people who, again, you'll know the names of, who that was part of the fun for them. Certain individuals really enjoyed naming things, and so we let them name them. Again, on the most part, we check it, and as long as it wasn't too naughty, we'd say okay. But yeah, we let the team and certain key members on the team do a lot of that because they enjoyed doing it and they were very good at doing it. So
I'm getting questions about the ENG, GER, and you know what I'm talking about, right?
anything.
Okay. Let's see. Do you remember how long it took to develop?
Oh, good question.
I know it was a long time ago.
It's probably, if I went back, it's probably faster than I think. But
I like this like lightning round of questions. Fun.
yeah, maybe 3 or 4 months.
Damn,
It's fast.
that is so fast.
It was fast. Yeah,
Yeah.
be wrong on that, but fast.
Wow. No clip to Dr. Porter to the left hand side. Wait, where was that? I think oh god, that's like, wait, chat. I might want to avoid that to not be demonetized or to not get a DMCA.
Yes, there's a bunch of symbols in here. Yes.
Wait, I'm just thinking about that. I'm like, no, I don't want to see. It's the I think you guys are talking about the hanged man, right? Yeah. Let's see. Why'd they choose the name Riese? Well, it means what it means. I mean, you know the answer more than me. I don't know.
It means what it means.
The giant. The giant is in France. Oh my god, I remember that phrase for like so much of my life. Let's see. He's not gonna give you guys he's not gonna say anything about the terminal. We've done it already, chat. We've already talked about it.
And we should a certain friend of ours who's German as well. Well, it's supposed to be the Riese, right? Yeah. We all say it wrong, and I just probably butchered it again. But
what also didn't help that we had a map later called Die Rise, where it was like, oh my god, you guys are making us say this set of letters in all these different ways.
Well, by the time of Black Ops 3, I was like, we need to call these really complicated things because these poor guys have to say it all the time. So I started thinking more complicated map names.
Yeah, I still to this day I'm like, Jason, why in the world did you make us like with all due respect, I think you were giddy at the fact that we were over here going, yeah, so what are the maps on Black Ops 3? Well, Shazio fine.
Yeah.
And then it's like, and then Horizon Track, Zetsubo no Shima, Garag Crovy.
That's easy.
Revelation's easy.
Yeah.
You give us an easy one there.
I gave you an easy one at the end.
Yeah, that's true. I know what you see. Let's see. I named my cat Maxis from these Dr. Maxis stories for this.
Nice.
Thank you. That's awesome.
That's
Killer
awesome.
Kenny. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
No, I'm sorry, I don't speak Japanese.
Okay, this is a cool one. It's not because we're no clip. Is there something outside of the map, like outside of the flow of the playable space, that you like that's not giving anything away? That's like, oh, that's like really cool. Like the teddy bear shadow and stuff like that. I'll give you an easy one. You're not gonna say what's the coolest, but you have something that's the coolest too. Oh my god. I like the teddy bear shadow. Okay, it was cool. It like freaked me out. I was like, why is there a shadow over there?
That's what we did a lot of that stuff in the early maps as well, was to shadow play, right? Having lights behind
Yes.
stuff and projecting on
The
stuff.
spotlights and
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah, we love doing that.
Show us the teddy bear. I'll show you guys the teddy bear as we're talking. Jason, if you see anything from chat as I show them really fast.
Sure.
But we might be nearing the end because we've yapped a lot, to be honest.
We did pretty good.
There it is. I'll do it from this view right
Yeah.
here. I won't ruin the magic and go
Yeah.
out there. We'll do it from this view.
See, things like that.
Yeah.
And again, it was like looking at
Should I ruin the magic a little bit?
you can if you want. Looking at like Hitchcock's movies, right? Looking at and talking about it. Yeah.
I love it. No, yeah, totally.
Yeah, it was like again, it's about the imagination. How do we switch the imagination up?
Yeah.
Again, looking at some of these now, it's you know, it's harder to kind of see it, but it was back in the time we were trying to make people dream that there's, you know, what else is there? What else is there?
I love too, like the spotlight being so massive with the teddy bear being small. It's so weird.
Yeah.
Because you could totally have it being like a massive shadow of the teddy bear, but y'all purposely decide to make it like small. And you're like, hey. And again, there was a lot of that. Like I really do think that, especially in the early days, I know it exists all over later maps, but I think in the early days, especially because we were boarding up windows more and more, people would spend so much time at the windows that they were kind of looking out the windows more.
Yep.
And that was a thing, I think, in a lot of maps where we'd always just be like,
What's out there?
What's out there behind that window? What's behind this one?
Yeah.
Jason, can you tell Jason I have an arm sleeve of zombies tattoos? Hell yeah.
Cool.
Hell yeah. Olympia M14, you're on the wrong game. that hasn't happened yet. You gotta wait for a BO1 thing, I think, for that question. Any reason why we got the Annihilator and the Giant? Because that was the reward for the quest then, right?
I think that would be more design based.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Let me see. I'm trying to look about Darice stuff, guys. You gotta stay on topic of Darice. If not, it might be wrap up time because there's gonna be plenty more streams. Genuinely, there's gonna be plenty more streams. So I love Darice. Room by the Bowie knife. Room by the Bowie knife. The one that you like, the drop down, I guess. What about that room? Let's see. Is it a real place and the team visit it? I don't.
No.
I imagine you guys didn't. Y'all didn't do the visit thing for a zombies map until Mob. Probably.
Mob was the
right?
first one.
Yeah.
Mob was the first outing where we were allowed out of the building. We could see the outside world. And that was a really fun day. That was a great fun day.
Rate Darice on a tier list. Oh man. Yeah, like how do you feel like let's maybe it's
Well, I mean, let's put it this way.
Yeah.
My ranking will be about difficulty, right?
Yeah.
So anxiety was very high, but difficulty was actually pretty smooth because it had to be.
Yeah.
So we were really worried that we were making a mistake or that we were making choices that we didn't want to break it. So the anxiety was high.
right.
But because of the amount of time, there was very little disagreement about decisions, right? Because again, it's a creative art, right? So, if we're talking about later maps, I can tell you about the push and pull on certain ideas. Because we were up against it and the speed, this one was very, very low drama and very, we were all had each other's backs going, have we done the right thing? Are we making the right decision? And I think that kind of galvanized the team, which was
awesome.
an insecurity to make sure we didn't mess it up for the fans, right?
Yeah, I definitely feel like, the community sentiment around Darice is always been very strong. And I think there's a good reason for that. And I think like a lot of my obsession as a fan really started with this one. I was obsessed from the very beginning. I remember the Tunguska thing on Geonuma and all that kind of stuff. But I feel like this is where it kind of like the box opened a little bit.
This is what made me a fan. I know that sounds kind of egotistical of me, but working on it for the first time was like, oh, this is actually really fun. It's really fun, and the possibilities seemed endless to me.
Because you could do so much with and I think this is a good point to say, maybe like a simple game loop, but so much you can do with a simple game loop, right?
Well, and again, it's like we talked about in the past, with D&D. If you're not playing, then it doesn't matter how good the dungeon master is.
Right.
It's just not going to be fun. It's like only when both of you are playing that you can really have fun.
Right.
Right. So that's what I saw with this mode, which was, okay, this is a place where you can just keep on having fun.
Yeah.
Right.
And y'all did.
Yeah.
Y'all had a crap ton of fun, I'm sure, with it all. Hard work though, but fun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, is it time? I
think that's time.
Is it time to wrap up?
I think it's time.
I feel like we covered a lot of stuff. We didn't play Beauty of Annihilation though. I do feel bad about that one. But we know it's a banger. We do. And I mean we touched on the music videos a little bit too, where that was one of those things where y'all didn't have to do that.
I love those. I absolutely love those. I thought they were so much fun. Again, the sound department being, in my opinion, the beating heart of it.
Right.
Then having such fantastic video editors there, the fact that the script and the story was so strong. It's like oh my god, it's crying out for it. You can have some fun. And I think as we can have, this is the first one we did, and then every one after that, I was always trying to beat the previous music video with some other kind of crazy stuff, right? They were doing.
Also, chat, to be clear, you guys know I love Elena and Kevin, and I've talked with Kevin a few times, and I am still this day. The amount of I one of my favorite things still this day is every single time he's still doing it.
Yeah.
He's still putting out a song every time, and it's so good. I'm just like the new one that came out just like a couple weeks ago. I was just like, oh my gosh, I love that.
Think how crazy it was for me, because Elena did the singing.
Yeah.
But Elena was my producer on the James Bond game I did, and then there's my producer now banging her lungs out doing an amazing song that we're then putting in. I was like, this is fantastic.
That's amazing.
So
that's
amazing. I got to see her as my producer. Obviously, she's gone on to have a fantastic career. Yeah. I got to see her as my producer, and then seconds later, she's in the booth banging this killer out, and I'm like, okay, that's great.
Yeah, that rocks.
and that really spoke to that spirit of do what we need to do. Right. Yeah,
maybe I'll once we close out the stream and we put the ending screen on, maybe I'll put Beauty of Annihilation on chat, because I think that'd be fitting. But that's incredible.
And then you get to rock out.
Yeah, totally. Which Bond game did you work on?
It was the Treyarch one. It was called Quantum of Solace. Yeah, it was on the 360 and the PS3, I think.
I think that's right.
Yeah.
Ben went huge game.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh my gosh. Did you work on Spider-Man Web of Shadows?
No, I did Spider-Man 3. I did Spider-Man 3.
I know that Liam made a video about that at one point.
Yeah, I didn't do. And again, I kind of came in at the end, so I was coming in to help out. So it wasn't my project.
Yeah, gotcha. All right. Well, we've talked about Riese. I think we've covered it a lot. I played so well, chat. Oh my gosh. I thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I really tried. You know what I'm very scared about? I don't know how to do that on like other maps. Like, I feel like it's really easy in World at War to do that. So I was lucky this time.
I'm sure no one's going to judge you.
Sure. They'll be in the comments being like, why didn't you do this? And I did the catwalk. Look, I'm around 28. And we used some fun weapons. The only thing I didn't use, and this is the sadness, is the PPSH. That's actually sad. Dang.
Maybe there's another map we can play later that'll have a PPSH in it. That's fair.
Okay. Well, John had a question. Dalek. What did John say? Was there ever? Oh, is it okay? Do you mind answering one more question?
Go on. Yeah.
This is one that I've actually always wanted to know too. There was a lot of rumors like back in the World at War days. It's like very relevant to World at War. That there was like oh, there's gonna be like a boss zombie on round 50. Is that ever a thing?
No comment.
That's okay. Okay. That's pretty good. Pretty good. You said
how much more do you want from me?
Well, we want him to do more streams, chat. We want to do more streams. This has been a crazy stream. For real. I love playing World at War. I'm so glad. I'm actually really glad we did World at War. Like I was debating it at first. I was like, maybe I should. And I was like, no, I gotta go. We gotta go back to World at War. We gotta do that. I think that's putting a little close on the Riese chapter there.
Yeah.
Guys, if you've missed the stream, just to recap really fast, you might want to go back to the start of the VOD because Jason made an official comment on the impossible Easter egg, which is insane. We also talked about something very, very, very important, and I will put it on the screen again. What is that? What the heck is that? New studio? Question mark? Please, if you want to support like this kind of passion and just like making something really awesome. I'm trying to be careful what I say a little bit, I guess, but I just love that we were able to make that account, I guess, for the stream is what I'll say.
Yep.
I think it's over 2K followers. Nice.
Wow.
Hell yeah. Thank you guys so much. Yeah, definitely give it a follow if you want to see more from us, and you know, you guys have been going crazy with the support over the last couple of days, and it really means a lot. And again, like we said, like we're not coming on stream to like, you don't have to give any subs to me on these streams, or there's no GoFundMe or anything like that. Just your sentiment and your hype and your excitement and your support and your support on like that account and everything, it goes such a long way. It really does.
Huge.
And it's been such a hopeful week, and I really am excited for the future. And I feel so hopeful actually, because it feels like the community like kind of has our back in a way, right?
Fantastic.
And so yeah, just not to get too deep, but it means a lot. Showman to Riese, I can't do that, chat. Liam would be like, JC, why would you do that? Do not do that to Jason. But yeah, chat. That's the recap of everything so far. Jason, unless you have anything.
I feel lightheaded after the amount of sharing I've done. This is too much sharing, too much information.
I'm sorry.
But
I actually feel bad. We did just sit him down to like talk over Riese for like 2 hours.
I'm gonna go and lie down now.
We said we before the stream we were like, let's well, probably like 2 hours. It's been almost 3. I'm sorry. But granted,
it's flown by.
It's flown by. It's been fun. It's been good.
Okay.
That being said, the Blundellathon will continue. But Jason,
yes,
I'm going to send you somewhere else.
Okay.
I'm going to send him somewhere else this time. It might not be here next time.
Take the microphone away. Where am I going?
Oh, you're being for real? Should I tell you? Should I whisper?
Yeah, just whisper.
Oh, okay, I'll mute it.
Let's mute it.
Yeah. Okay.
Been nice doing this. I'll see you later.
I don't see you until then.
Probably not now.
That's it?
Yeah. See you later, guys. Thank you.
But he actually just left. Like he just said goodbye. That's it. He said stop asking about the Riese terminal and just left. Well, I guess that's it. Jason is gone. Hopefully he wants to do streams with me in the future. I mean, the Blundell-a-thon continues, chat. In all seriousness, it continues. It will be, remember that this day was day 1, and I'll see you guys for day 2, wherever that is. Okay. And in all seriousness, I love you guys. Thank you so much for all the support. Again, sorry, it's really hard. It's hard to do a bit. Okay. I love y'all. Thank you. When? Sometime. Keep on your toes. Who knows? I don't know. He left. You ask him. I don't know. Or do I know? Bye-bye.